Okay, so this is the explaining the thing before the actual audio starts bit.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'll drop this in before. Hey, people of the future.
Future.
We're coming to you from the even further future. This is the future past now. Basically, you're gonna listen to this episode of Let's Talk FGO, and for like 30 to 40 minutes, it's my bad. I goofed it up. I wasn't recording audio from Lucky, so the bit with like him doing the intro and some of the other stuff is just completely missed.
Honestly, we don't have to redo the intro. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay,
we can just keep going.
We'll miss the intro, but here we're doing a funnier intro now as we admit that I fucked up, and I feel bad about it. And I waited until after like 40 seconds. I can say I fucked it up.
I find it hilarious though. It just goes to show how much little I talk actually, because you said you're at like the 50-minute mark.
I was in the 50-minute of the raw audio before I was actually looking at the waves, and Lucky is speaking, and I didn't, and I'm like, no waves are coming out. By your own admission, you weren't talking a lot until like that last segment for like the last 5 to 10 minutes of that.
Well, yeah.
So like that's why I don't think I caught it. So it will sound like I'm talking to myself a little bit. Just assume that Lucky was mostly going, in there for that first bit. And now we're gonna stop this down, and we're gonna go back to our actually scheduled programming. But I just wanted to throw this bit in the front end before the thing happens, so you understand why shit's weird. Okay, bye everybody.
We got to
see you in the future past.
Future.
On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, boys, and more boys, and then some other boys, but also some ladies, but mostly boys, but also ladies. Hi, I'm Omega, he's Lucky. We are definitely boys. It's a regular old boys club here at Let's Talk FGO. Did you see it coming? I could probably find some Persona 5 buttons. I don't have them handy. Lucky wouldn't get the Majesty either. It would all be in post, basically. Sadly. Expect us to make a few of those jokes, though. So, yeah, so Let's Talk FGO. We're going. We're starting. And as always, Let's Talk FGO is brought to you by our patrons like Adam DeHarp, Ahaga Comics, Architect 10, Blacklist OG, Carlos, Qua, Ferris, Jeremy Vasquez, Jonathan Sandoval, Kylie Dead, and Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Regent Raptor, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, Soda Son over 247, 23, and Zach Reed. If you like what we do, want to see more, consider supporting Patreon. You can get access to episodes early on. Somebody goes and helps us out. Thank you for support, everybody. And also, I'll take your heart? Question mark? Yeah. That would be a very funny, but would definitely require a high-end Patreon scheme to send calling cards to people. There you go, Internet. There's a good Patreon reward. You need to stall for a second there, because I was adjusting my headphones, because I need a haircut, and so it's slightly awkward wearing the headphones. I'll find the time someday. Regions of my hair certainly do that, but my unfortunate problem is the lower area above and behind the ears is the one that like gets long and hangs down, which makes headphones a little awkward sometimes. Very tickly. He's popping. He's locking. Okay, we've faffed enough. Let's don't talk to me about that either. I mean, I do shave regularly, but I also need to shave right now. Though it did cool off a little. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the weather. Or are we? No, we're not. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Let's move into our first totally real, 100% authentic, definitely important topic. That's right, everybody. It's time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai Regular Tips. I got a simple one this week. It's just reminding you what March's exchange items are. They are, in fact, horseshoes, chains, and stakes. That's cool. A lot of love for stakes lately. I appreciate it. My Aresh is already 10-10-10, but I appreciate them digging me out of that hole. It's a very deep hole filled with the stakes. So, yeah. I thought about an alternate one, but I figure it went better in news, so I'll have some vaguely pro-tippy commentary later as we talk about events that are upcoming. Okay. So, that's that. I hope everybody is cool and has what they want out of monthlies. Very quickly, let's blitz through Records on the Throne, a regular achievement topic. You'll notice that there is no really amazing tales of woe or anything in here, or joy. All this stuff just kind of happened, and concurrently, I did in fact get Bright leveled up. Her smile is protected. It's great. She's actually quite a ways along. I think I got her up to like level 88 before I ran out of various EXPs. But yeah, that's neat. Working on that. And in case anybody's wondering, that is in fact where all of my monthly EXPs went several days ago. Because servants at high levels are greedy. Okay. Well, let's see. Let me blitz through. Did you finish your master mission real fast? Sorry, I have my window open because it's cooler outside, and I just got a hint of, like, smoke on the air, and I'm like, do I need to close my window? Nah, not yet. It's fine. Not unless it gets a real smoke. So, master missions. Perform 30 FP summons, defeat 8 servants, and then defeat specifically 15 Knight class servants, and then 30 of those guys, and then defeat 15 Cavalry class servants, and then 30 of those guys. So it's like, once again, not even, like, do the event tier, but, like, do fucking anything tier. Especially those friend point summons. Remember that. Remember those. You can forget. If you make sure to do your free one every day, that's fine. But, like, sometimes you don't, so pretty easy, though. All right. So, I guess technically I just realized I wrote these out of, like, chronological order, because I did the North America thing first. But, let's just go ahead and talk about it, because it's the order my notes are written in. And I'm going to confuse myself if I have to, like, scroll back up. So, we did get news just the other day. With a decent ahead of time. I appreciate for once FGO not being like, tonight, you... Like, what? Like, they actually gave us quite a bit of notice because they have announced Old Spider spins Webs of Memory starting on the 8th and going until the 15th. So, actually, this was announced, like, a day or two ago, actually, I think, as of this recording. So, like, they gave us plenty of advance warning, for once. Like, 3 or 4 days. That's pretty good. So, this is the Chaldea Boys Collection event. Like, they also call Chaldea Boys Collection separately, but it's all one event. They all happen at the same time. They're all related. As you do quests in Old Spider, you will be getting bonuses from your CBC, CEs, etc., etc. So it's all tied together. So it's pretty simple. Every night you'll unlock new story quests, usually 1 or 2 a night, and then a free quest rank, the next step, upgrades every night. And it will actually finish in, like, 5-ish chapters. Like, I think there's 5 main story unlocks. So yes, this is in fact only a week, and some people have been confused about this. No, it was in fact this long in JP. It was the 11th until the 19th, which is actually like 8 days, but still, it was about a week. It's entirely possible that they gave it those extra days because I believe CCC had to be extended slightly because they had some issues doing it, right? Like, they had like delays and bad maintenance, so that may be why it got extended a couple in there, but like, it's mostly the same length, no. So you'll be able to finish the story if you're doing it in about 5-ish days, like I said, I think. I'm pretty sure. You can check all the time locks, by the way. They're already in the news on the main FGO website. But anyway, you can do all that. You'll check it. You'll get new free quests. So there is a currency shop, and we'll talk about it later. But, like, really the major things are pretty simple out of this. So it's a pretty laid-back event. And there's no full pregame because, like I said, it's super simple. It's weekly story unlocks with associated free quests that just unlock at the same time. It's very basic bitch event stuff, but hopefully it'll have an interesting story. It'll be Moriarty focused, and hopefully it'll be pretty simple compared to CCC. I can tell you, spoilers right now. Monoclass notes. Also, thank God, damage bonus. All male servants and all questionably male servants. Right now it's only the 4. It's Astolfo, Dion, Chin, and Enkidu, right? So it's not that crazy. This theme continues into CBC in the future in JP, which should get announced and is actually running right now, and we'll talk about it. That's way more confusing there. Where you've got like, Dioscuri, obviously, because it's both, but also, like, everybody who's question mark, like, gender, Like, Canis and Kichi Hogan are in there as well, and I'm just like, alright, you guys are just being animals because that means you have more bonus servants, aren't you? Like, after Valentine's, where this was a lot stricter, I'm like, hold on. Wait a minute here. But, yeah, there's 50% bonus damage for most dudes. You can already see the filter as well. It's slightly annoying as I try to tab from CCC bonus to normal bonus. For some reason, upcoming is between those two. Thanks, FGO. You will get bonus drops to currency. Yes, there are currency for all the Chaldea Boys Collection CEs. Yes, you still get your exchange for 1 CE for free, still. They talked about that already. You can get the... Actually, why am I going on that one? I should go straight to the... I was going to pull up the list of CEs. I was like, wait a minute, I should just go straight to the FGO source, because they'll, the main site, because they'll have the English blow-up image of all the CEs you can exchange for. So, I shall copy this for patrons. I will have to check what all the CEs do to see if anything do anything interesting, but they do have some pretty fun stuff in here. You've got Cunning Foresight, that's a great look. Dante's Files returns, the true mastermind, with, of course, by the way, Amakusa as Santa Island Mask. Dance with a Round Table is just Round Table Boys. But, you've got some funs in here. You've got smalls, talls, everything in between. Is that Salieri is the other one with Mozart? It probably is, in Vampire Masquerade Ball. I would assume so. Obviously, like I said, I gotta check which one of these has what effects. Because sometimes they have some really good mechanical effects that you're like, ooh, that CE's cool. And also looks good. But you still get your 1. That's pretty fun. That's a CBC thing going on. There is a shop I mentioned before. It will contain a pretty simple library of things. You're going to get hearts, grease, lanterns, claws, octuplet crystals, void dust, serpent jewels, stakes. Yeah, more stakes. Proofs, archer, berserker, and rider statues, and then EXPs and foes. So I'm kind of glad to have another EXP thing like right after, just because, EXPs are a pain in the butt. There will be a new Moriarty costume, which you can get through. It's either through clearing the story or after you've cleared the story, you buy in the shop, so keep an eye out on that. You'll have plenty of time to figure it out. You got like a week. Also, he gets his rank up buff in this. His mastermind skill, the one that costs critical stars, will get a buff to apply the evil trait to all other servants, so they also get the benefits of his evil charisma. So long as you remember to use those two skills in the proper order. Anyway, so that's fun. I mean, it still costs stars, so it's not a guaranteed thing, but I think it's a cute little mechanic they've done. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that later. The JP new event that came with 3 rank ups, which I thought was very bold. So we'll talk about that one. But costume is cool, bartender. So there's a login for 7 days during a 2-week period. So you have a big window for this to get 6 summon tickets, and then eventually the new command code, the coffin one. And the banner is going to be primarily Moriarty on Raid Up all the time. Also, Yan King and Lanling are primaries as well. I'd also believe Alexander is on the Raid Up as the 3-star. And then it will rotate through additional Raid Ups with permanent and story-locked SSR males. So, this is usually pretty popular because you get your shot at units like Coup Altar and stuff like that. There's a couple of other fun ones in there. It's actually not a super expansive list, especially if you take out the limiteds. That said, it's been a while since Moriarty got a Raid Up, so that's cool. Now, here's a fun thing. Starting at the same time, but going on for a long time, they have also announced very subtly half AP story campaign, going from the 8th until the 29th of April. That's right, you get like 2 months of this. And it's dirt simple. During this time period, Part 1 is 1/4 AP, and Part 2, all Part 2s, so Lost Belts 1, 2, and 3, are half AP for the entire duration. So... I mean, that would be like, hold on, how many months? How many days is April? April is 30, so that would basically mean that this ends right as we get into May. I mean, that's a little early still. Yeah, something like that. So, obviously, probably making sure you're caught up because they are gonna have to, space these events pretty tightly. That said, this is like a wide strike zone. It's a fucking 2-month half AP. This is just so all those people who yell about how much they nearly died, having to get through LB2 to do Oni Land or whatever, and stuff. Yeah. So, I don't think we're going to launch immediately into the Lost Belt, but it's making sure you're caught up in the story. It's still pretty interesting to just, slide it out. I mean, it could be... No, Oki would happen way before that, actually. Yeah, but, yeah, so... I'm guessing they're starting it now so you can prep for OQ, but it's not it's not ending early. It's deliberately staying wide open to catch you up for a lot of stuff. But also, hey, maybe this is another pro tip. We can throw in a side pro tip here. You will actually need story progress for OQ. I'm pretty sure it's Lost Belt 3. Yeah. We may be a full week ahead of that. And if not a full week, probably a little bit. Let's see, because the Old Spider ends the 15th of March. Assume probably they keep the week run for the interlude campaign. So maybe they start at 5 days early on the 22nd or something. That's still a weekish ahead. So yeah, be cautious, people. Be careful out there. I know a lot of people are trying to save up for common. Be ready. So okay, I think that's all our NA news. Let's talk about JP. They've announced Chaldea Boys Collection 2021 over there. Adoringly subtitled just Slapstick Museum. It is running from the 3rd to the 15th. So they've obviously given them 2 weeks over there. This was announced on stream. This was the final Winter Caravan stream they did, which was pretty interesting. They had, I believe, was it Mandracardo's VA on? As one of their guests for the first time, and also Nobunaga. Very fancily dressed up as usual, and Rumi Okubo. Everybody was in layers because it's cold in Japan right now. Yes. Yeah, this was his, first ever stream appearance with FGO, and Mandracardo was his first role. And also, to be fair, he was just doing basically all that weird drama CD shit that No offense, the actual, like, scenes are really cute. Like, Canis and Emiya showed up in the last one. That was pretty funny to, like, hear them speak and stuff. And kind of comment on this shenanigans leading up to the CE. But the, like, in-betweener games of, like, what gift should Abigail get Canis? What will it be? Answer online now. Not online, but, like, online, the app. It's like, okay, guys, okay, alright. You're killing me a little bit. One of their little games they played was very funny, though. They had, like, a tic-tac-toe board to, like, reveal slides by answering questions and guess the picture. And, they got the first one right, which was, like, dead center, and it came out what was very clearly some skin, probably a leg. And everybody, we were like, there had to be, like, nearly a dozen of us gathered up in a voice channel watching this. While also some people were playing Final Fantasy, but, like, we're watching this and all that middle slide comes out, and I'm just like, hold on, wait a minute. There's something vaguely menacing here about this. I don't feel right about this. Everybody else was like, oh my, no. And then they got one more right. And then Rumi Okubo immediately guessed correctly that it was Astolfo, because it was in fact Astolfo style. Like, I mean, once the second one came out, it was pretty obvious, but again, like, to me, I made the leap in logic, because it was like, no, wait a minute, that skirt, that garter, yeah, that's Astolfo. Also, Rumi Okubo's here, why wouldn't it be Astolfo? Like, right? Which is probably why she got it so fast. What did you say, on when the stream is happening? You talked about how she said that she owns a bunch of Liz figurines and she, like, pats them on the head every day before she goes out. Yeah, she seems like she knows what she's doing. But at the end there, they showed off some of the stuff for CBC, but not all the stuff. And that was mostly the meat of it. It wasn't super impactful or anything. They did, like, preview some arcade stuff, further cementing that arcade is, in fact, going off on its own Wild Blue Yonder. Because everybody was like, okay, they're doing the next chapter. It's Camelot, right? It's Camelot. And then the subtitles are like, Lost Jerusalem. And we're like, So, yeah, we're doing some weird stuff. No further commentary or comment is necessary in the comments about it. Acknowledge that it's weird, and if there's no need for main FGO spoilers or speculation, just how they're doing weird things. I mean, honestly, the fact that they're doing their own separate thing is less of a call for pitchforks, other than just that I'm upset that I and quite frankly a lot of people in Japan still can't even enjoy the fact that they're doing, like, a separate narrative kind of thing, right? But the fact that they are in fact committed to, like, doing a slightly separate narrative is, I feel like that's better than just, oh, well, we put Sita in for a cheap cash grab. No, they're like, oh, but we're deliberately doing, like, a weird mirror universe thing, you know? Like, they're doing something different. That said, still, guys, I would love to be able to enjoy this in some format myself. Especially if you're doing new writing, that would be cool. But alright, let's talk about Slapstick Museum. Everything is pretty typical Chaldea Boys collection stuff. You log in for tickets and the new command code, just like we're doing. Exactly like that. You get to get a free CE. They showed off some of them on stream. It was cool. I wonder what they do with the giant cardboard CEs they print out after they're done with streams and stuff. I mean, they do have, I think it's just an exhibit, but they do have a Type Moon museum, so maybe they display them somewhere. So, as befitting the fact that Amakusa is central to this event, and we talked about this as well when the stream was going, this is a fun little callback because Amakusa was introduced in the original Chaldea Boys Collection event. That was the Amakusa, Astolfo, and Kid Gil Trial Quest was the original event, so neat. He gets an animation update and a new costume, so I don't know the details of the animation update, but it exists. And like I said, he gets his new Phantom Thiefy type costume with a mask on his hat, because of course, it's pretty funny. Let's see, what is next in my notes? So this is a question I got a lot. A lot of people were like, "Oh, Amakusa's gonna be it. Is he gonna get a rank up?" My response to this was usually, I have no fucking clue, because we exist in a zone where, like, Emiya's gotten 4 rank ups. He's gotten all 3 of his skills buffed. No, he's gotten 3 rank ups, right? But he's gotten all of his skills, like, extra buffed, and then another double buff. Like, it's wild. Also, he had an NP interlude as well. Like, we are in the phantom zone of rank ups where I'm like, I don't even know anymore. Like, generally, I think, spoilers, Amakusa did get a rank up. Actually, I should put this in context. I'll tell you about it in a second. But, like, prior to this, he did get an NP interlude, I believe, to strengthen his NP. He got his first skill buffed and his last skill buffed to, like, give him more stuff. His second skill was unmodified. It was the one that was buffed. But it was also, like, solid enough that I was like, I don't know if he really needs a buff, but also we live in a weird phantom zone where it's like, anybody could be buffed. I don't know. So, they did, in fact, go for a buff. But like I said earlier, they went for 3 buffs. 3 people got buffed out of this, which is really interesting. So Amakusa's skill 2, his baptismal rite effect, got its cooldown reduced by 2. Its original default cooldown was 12. It is now 10. So I believe that goes down to be 8 if you max it out. So, first of all, this is his NP per turn skill, if you don't know their names. Originally, this had the ability to inflict charge down on, I think, undead or demonic enemies, which were mostly mobs. They modified it so it now does charge down to everybody. All enemies take a charge down, which I think is decent. Like, before it was a niche thing, but now it's just, like, a universal part of his kit. It also gives all enemies, I believe... Actually, I should double check. Is it all enemies or just one? It's not actually in my notes. Sorry, guys. I wrote all this stuff earlier while also grinding CCC. My brain may be slightly melted. Yeah, so let's see. Servant strengthening. All enemies buster resistance. Got it. Okay. So, for 5 turns, Amakusa now reduces all enemies' buster resistance by 10 to 20%. It's pretty bold. It also gives him an immediate 20% battery. So no longer do you have to wait until the end of the turn to get the 10 to 20%. It immediately gives him 20%. Considering that it was 5 turns of 20%, this means that you get quite kick-started on NP charge. Which I'm assuming is what they're going for here. Is like, this is designed so that his NP or any supporting NPs hit harder, and he gets to his NP even faster. I don't think it's like a crazy broken buff. Some people will be like, oh my god, he does 5 things. Whatever. Don't care. Yes, he does a lot of things, and he does them over several turns, but I think this is an interesting game design note that because I've been doing the progression tournament, actually, which we follow the game design of Yu-Gi-Oh! Through the years, basically. Check it out if you haven't already. Episode 11 out now. But, like, we have a lot of time to digest how game design changes over literal months and years, right? Like, the first ever Yu-Gi-Oh! Release was in 03. We are now in, like, the start of 05, I think, in terms of, like, our real time where the series is at, right? So, yeah, FGO is also a game that has been around a while. We're you know, less than 6 months away from starting year 6 in JP, right? Think about that for a second, guys. We're in the back half of year 5. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy if you think about it. So what I think they've basically done with this skill design is they've tried to make Amakusa perform all the same stuff he did, just more consistently. The cooldown is reduced because, especially before when it was only charged down an NP per turn, yes, it was like 5 turns long, but like, it wasn't a cooldown of 5 turns anyway, so it was a really friggin' long cooldown for, just he gets NP per turn? It was a little restrictive, so they've reduced the cooldown, and they made it so he gets the NP started, like, right away he starts charging, which can be good if you could pair him with, like, a K-Scope now, for instance. K-Scope him, have him fire his NP turn 1, which is great for challenge quests if enemies start with buffs, right? So you could immediately have him fire his NP at a K-Scope or something, or have him go with another thing and get some supporters in there, you know. And then he's still regaining NP for a second shot immediately afterward. Makes him more consistent. The buster resistance down means that he or anybody else in your team comp will do more damage over those turns as well if he actually gets to fire his NP a couple times, because even with the damage multiplier buff, Amakusa is still a ruler with very low attack, firing a buster NP, which has a very low multiplier, AoE, right? It's still a bit of a softball, even though he has a buster strength up as well as now inflicts buster down. It just makes his strategy much more consistent when you can apply it. There's no more futzing around and being like, wait a minute, is this an NP I can use his charge down on? No, fuck it. Charge down. He just does it. And I think it does a lot to making him more effective, even though Amakusa has always had a niche use, because he's one of those rare servants that has a pre-damage buff strip, which is AoE as well. Very spicy. No, it's great. Honestly, like, depending on the timing and if I have any fucking tickets or anything, I'm like, Amakusa raid-ups are good, though. I always love to see a support Amakusa. I've never gotten lucky. He's always been in bad times for me, right? But it makes him more consistent. So, we got 2 more, though. Here's a fun one. Classic, Da Vinci, double stuff, as we say. Got a buff. Her natural body got upgraded to Mona Lisa. No, it's the upper body. It's Mona Lisa now. So, this was actually kind of weird. I was like, oh, they really did change anything? No, they did not change her HP or NP per turn effects, or the debuff immune. It now just gives the whole party 10 to 20% arts up for 3 turns. One, this is good for her, because as a caster, especially as an AoE, like, farmy type caster, you always want that little bit extra damage. Casters are very, very noodly, much like Amakusa. Also, arts improves NP gain on arts cards, so you get better for Lupin, stuff like that. And I think in general it makes her obviously as a guy who's had a Da Vinci for a while and been using her a lot in some of these events, I think it keeps her up to par with certain units like we talked about, like he did that one on Murasaki Shikabu earlier, last month, for instance. Murasaki has a very consistent damage strategy of like, are you a demon? Die. You die. This gives lets Da Vinci exist in that kind of, generic, okay, you don't have any kind of weird funky trait damage effects to apply? Alright, I'm just gonna hit you with NP as many times as possible kind of a thing. It keeps her broadened out, even gives her a semi-support role, because it's team arts up, fits in if you're using her to, like, nom early waves and then fight a boss kind of a thing. Consistent strategies, all that stuff. I think it gives her a little more depth. Now, here's a fun one. You want to talk about skills getting so much added. Jinkei actually got a buff. She gets a rank up. So the skill they ranked up was her planning skill. Originally, this was, I believe, a 3-turn, 10 to 30% star gen buff, which is I believe she had this since launch. For a launch assassin, that's alright. That's okay. No. Delightworks was like, we're done with this. We've had enough. The skill doesn't do enough things. So first of all, the star gen number got buffed. It's now 30 to 50%. Great. On an assassin who's all quick cards, that's great. I love it. Next, another great thing. She gets 30 to 50% trait damage versus king servants for 3 turns. Yeah, we're playing with the memes. I also think it's fair that Jinkei, an actual honest-to-God attempted assassin, does also get a trait buff that was, like, first seen on Scheherazade of all people, So, like, now this gives her a decent damage multiplier, and it's not tied to her NP, so she can use it on post-NP turns when she's got shitloads of stars as well. Also, it gives her a on-hit buff. She inflicts 10% defense down when she hits a servant with a quick card. So, her quick cards now have a stackable damage down buff. It's a flat 10%, but that's per quick hit. She's a launch assassin, so she's got a triple quick. And her NP is also a quick as well. So, this I think takes a skill that was alright, but definitely compared to later tech stuff, a little lackluster, and is like, okay, we're gonna make sure your values are bumped up to where they are for most modern servants. And then let's also just actually give you a niche that makes sense in lore. Here you go, Jinkei. You kill kings now. I'm sure she's very happy. And I think it, especially as a 3-star assassin unit, a free-to-play unit that most people probably have, it's always good to keep these kind of damage levels up, get that little spice in, have a little fun. Keeps everybody relevant even after all these years. So, they also are doing bonus damage for this. So, Amakusa gets plus 100% bonus damage. He probably needs it. All male and question mark servants get 50% damage up, just like we got, only that gender unknown zone has expanded a lot in the last couple of years, and is now very funny to look at. I think people like Kagekyo and Kishi Hogan, like I said, are in there. Kane is in there. A couple of other. Dioscuri is in there because, again, technically they're twins, so it's both. Like, it's an absurdly huge bonus list. But I expect that's what they're going for when they make it, right? But also, I think I mentioned this before, Jinki gets 30% damage up as well, so she gets included, even though she's a lady. Talking about this, there's the usual CE rigmarole. New CEs. They're great. They look cool. Everybody's all over them. I, in fact, do believe I have seen some of them posted on the internet already, like people doing full sizes and stuff. I could probably... Okay, I was about to say, I could probably grab them from the thing, but alright, Lucky's gonna look at them later. It's alright, it's fine. Let's see, what else did I have jotted down? CEs. Oh yeah, the banner. So, we talked about this already, right? It's the exact same thing where it's a rotation of the same permanent and story-locked males, but the primary banner servants is Amakusa is back, which is good, he's limited. Interesting enough, Suna gets a rate up right away, which is a little weird because he just came out, literally 3 months ago. On the other hand, hey, maybe people didn't roll on that banner. That was immediately pre-Ibuki and Muramasa, so, I mean, that's probably fair that he gets another shot. And Jinkei is also on rate up all the time. And then everybody else is all the males blob who are permanent story locked. So, seems neat. Yeah, I don't think I have anything further. I don't think did the arcade stream happen yet? I've seen them post the trailer again. I don't know if they actually did the stream. So basically, Arcade mentioned they would be doing a standalone arcade stream. I think this is in general a good idea for Arcade to maybe do a little bit more stuff on its own, you know? Okay, so soon. That is probably where we will get all the actual, like, torches and pitchforks in the street shit, because they're actually going to talk about what they're doing for the Jerusalem chapter there, and we'll presumably have new servants, because they showed a silhouette of a knighty boy, but with a shield, and also a sword. So, yeah, shit's about to get different over there. Interesting. Bringing in kind of a way for an arcade stream. Intriguing. But yeah, like, that'll probably be where we get some serious news from there that makes everybody, yeedle or needles. They get nettled, whatever. We'll see what happens. And we'll move on from there. So yeah, that wraps it up for news. So, we've got a great torches and pitchforks. Sorry, I'm just looking at this shot. I'll probably talk about this again on WhatsApp, but for some strange reason, I decided to binge all of Corridor Digital, who do great videos in general, by the way, if you haven't seen them. Shit like Nerf Team Fortress, Nerf Overwatch, they're those guys. Tactical Reloads. I watched another of theirs, which was Anime Self-Driving Cars. Like, they do all those cool, weird VFX YouTube videos still. But they also have another but they have a long-running series called VFX Artist React. I watched all 58 episodes of that over the course of this week, because, I don't know, I hate myself. I needed something to do while I was grinding CCC, right? You guys listen to us, I need something to do. I can't listen to me for that many hours. I can't put up with myself that long. So I'm just watching this GIF loop of a clip from, I believe, the original Shrek, and I'm just like, yeah, you can definitely see where this is like an older style of rendering, where like it's got some of its deliberate stylization, but also I'm like the fire effects, that's pretty cool, but like some of these shots are definitely like a little, tickle my brain cheek. Anyway, that was me stalling before I mentioned the thing, which is we don't really have a back half of this show. Like, I talked about this with Lucky before we started, Mike. We could dedicate another couple of minutes to bitching about how hard CCC is. I feel like we don't need to. You guys know. You're doing it right now. You've done it. You've done the CCC. I haven't beat Kiara yet, even. I definitely haven't beaten King Protea yet, because there's like there's 9 fights. Literally 9 fights before her. And it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. I'm probably gonna get through Kiara, and probably gonna at least get my shot at King Protea before the event ends. God, man, I forgot how much of a pain in the dick these missions are, though. Kill 250 Sakura enemies. Why, though? I know you have spawn Cs, but why? That's so long. There's no bonus damage in this. Oh, and they're all... Honestly, Lucky, this is why I mentioned explicitly that Spider Spins the Web has monoclass nodes, right? I think the thing about CCC that kills me the most is the fucking multi-class nodes, where it's like, yes, you must fight casters and assassins and riders, but also a lancer. And I'm like, oh my god, I would love to just have, like, Melt Go Burr, but I can't. Like, literally, that doesn't work if you throw Karna in there or something. I'm so glad that, to do the, like, Type X enemies, one of the best nodes for that is all riders. I was just like, okay, I find my one friend who's got an Old Man Lee at, like, level 100. I stick Melt on there. I grab my Python, and I'm just like, just get rid of these people. Get rid of these. Just do this over and over again. Cats and a Dragon, don't care. One punch manner. Just get out of here. Like, God, it's so great when there's, like, one monoclass node, but so many of them aren't, and it hurts me. It hurts me deep. The even funnier thing is that, I think the final free quest node in, Spider Spins the Web, that's all sabers, by the way. To really drive it home how you should be playing this event. I'm like, that's great. Oh, that's gonna be fun. I've got an NP5 Amiya, guys. He's gonna have 50% damage bonus. We're just gonna go burr. Now, if only I had his rank up so that his NP could be arts, then we could do some sick loop tricks, probably. Anyway. So yeah, we're probably not gonna do any more than that. Like, do you have anything further to add about kvetching about CCC? There's a lot of cat action. What? No talk cat time now. Yeah? No, a year from now. Because there'll be the OQ rerun, and then they'll put it on main interlude next year, just before anniversary. Or just after for us. I don't know how fucking time works. No, I've definitely been, and I am glad that we know that this is coming back up in main interlude, like it will exist again, and theoretically forever. Where I'm just like, yeah, no, I appreciate that, because I definitely feel like otherwise I would probably be freaking out a little. Because, holy shit, guys, this is... So they added a couple new bonus servants. They really did not do anything to make this rerun go smoother. And I feel like They deliberately did that. They deliberately cockblock you with like, oh, you must now fight Kid Gale. You must now fight, Karna. Like they throw in a Knights class guy just to make it so you can't have alter egos go apeshit, even though this should be the event where it's like, hey, did you roll an alter ego? Good for you. The event is easy. Like that is basically free bonus damage, having an alter ego and having class advantage. I wish that the game rewarded it. Because, hey, I do, in fact, in those intervening years, I've got a melt. I can find people who already have 10-10-10 level 100 King Proteas on support. Oh, actually, though, I have a funny story, though, that I should throw in there. I did the thing. Hey, if you're wondering why you're not my friend anymore, you put a Scotty with a spawn CE, and I literally went through everybody on my friends list, and if I found a Scotty with a spawn CE, I yeeted them. Get out of here. Like, okay, if you've got a Scotty on normal support with, like, tea time or whatever, fine. I can't blame you. If you're in the middle of this event and you're running a fucking Scotty with a spawn CE, keeping in mind, that's the thing that literally makes Scotty looping impossible, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Get out my face. Get away from me. That's just so, like, negative alpha black hole brain, where I'm just like, blork. Oh yeah, no, Axe mentioned, my Karna has gotten so much fucking action. Like, he is my guy. I had to run that one where you fight Arjuna so much. That was, double Karna with melt for ads, right? It's easy. Get 2 Karnas, charge, mana burst into NP, Arjuna disappears. He vanishes. It's almost like there's a deliberate design there. No, but, I've gotten a lot of action out of some of those guys. I have done so many fucking, Nero and Nero Bride double teams, right? Also, I do want to shout out, though, I do appreciate one final thing about CCC before we move into mailbag, by the way. That's what we're doing next. We're going to do mailbag. Don't worry, there'll be a lot of mailbag, so we're going to do a lot of it. But I do definitely appreciate that they gave Nero this buff, right? That procs on certain terrains. Well, because it's Seraphix, everything is water. So she always gets the arts buff. You are literally underwater, you get the buff. I love it. Thanks. Thanks, guys, for thinking of that. Oh. Yeah, no, that's just, yeah, you've done it wrong. I mean, there was at least one person who they hadn't done no CC. Even though they were logging in regularly, they had done no effort to CCC setup. Like, that was just normal setup in Valentine's still. That person also got yeeted. Listen, if you're logging into FGO, you could at least try. Like, I probably have some blank holes in my CE setup, just because I'm lazy. But, like, I tried. Definitely. Like, that sounds like maybe they set it up once and then forgot about it, which I admit I have done. But I also admit, okay. I can admit, right now, you asked me dead to rights, my phone's over in the corner, it's charging. I've been playing my FGO a lot today, to build up to this point, right? You asked me the question, hey, Omega, is there an assassin in your event support up right now? I honestly don't know. I 100% don't know, because the only actual bonus one is Old Man Lee, and I don't got him. No, hold on. And I'll start rolling again. Lucky, please speak to me.
I am speaking.
Okay, so, this is the jump cut where I caught the thing that you heard about at the start of the show, because we just shot that, and I did insert it into the previous audio. So we have time traveled. Hi.
Oops, all Omega.
Yeah. I think the only thing there is that I would like Lucky to repeat some of his life experience he was just having with people's animal support setups.
Okay.
Like, I think you were in the middle of a story before I was like, wait a minute, this is wrong.
Yeah, no. Okay, because, one of the stories I get, well, I already yeeted the person, so I can't go back to it. But Omega basically was talking about how he did the thing. He went on a purge and yeeted everyone with a Scotty and Spawn CE, because they're animals.
Yes.
And that got me thinking, it's like, oh, I should go check my friends list and see how things are going. So I'm going through my friend requests. I had 20 of them, and I'm like, alright, who's getting yeeted? And one of the ones that's popped out to me immediately was, there was this dude. He did have his support, well, I should say they. They had their support split into normal and event, as you do. That's what you do. You keep your main stuff on your normal, and you put your event stuff on event. Except this guy, on his normal setup, he had his CCC, they had their CCC setup, and on their event setup, they still had Last Valentine's setup. So I'm like, wait a minute. If I was to actually friend this guy and use his support, I actually wouldn't get their CCC support, I would get their Valentine support. And I'm like, this is like this is so opposite of Galaxy Brain. I can't even right now. And they got yeeted.
This is the Nega Brain shit.
This is Nega Brain.
Yeah, we got on this topic because we were both bitching about CCC.
Yeah, basically
I think earlier I literally asked you the question, hey, Lucky, do you have anything to say? That's really funny considering what turned out to happen.
They're just going to hear, hey, Lucky, do you have anything to say? And you're going to be like, wait a minute.
There's going to be a brief pause and then a jump cut to something else. And then eventually. Luckily, like I said, we went back and shot that bit where I let people know that's what's going on for like the first 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, but now I'm on the second one, and Lucky's a little bit furious. Because this person has an NP5 Murasaki Shikaboo, okay? NP5. Super limited servant. Only came out once. Only had a couple weeks. Only chance to get her. So this person either was super dedicated or really super lucky. But either way, their NP5 Murasaki Shikaboo is level 70 with skills at 111. And I'm just all like, hold on a goddamn minute here. Why do you have an Like, I know I can't really talk, but when you, like, most of my MP5s are permanents. You know, they just happen randomly. And I'm just all like, okay. It's like, okay, Arturo, you're here. Hi, how you doing? Why? I did not know. This person had to make the conscious choice to get 5 Murasaki Shikaboos. And for some odd reason, like almost a month after it's like 70 out of 80, 111. Like, why? Why do you do this?
Yeah, there's been a whole event. There's been 2 whole events worth of event EXPs to fix this problem. Plus, there was at least 1 dead week for farming. It's nuts.
Oh, actually, no. Looking at this full set, this person's a little wild. All right, let's see here.
This person isn't like secretly Vesper or anything, right? I know sometimes Vesper does levels weird as a joke.
Maybe, but like, I'm actually looking at this. Like, their levels are just weird in general. Maybe they're a newer player. Cause, let's see here. Cause I'm just gonna read this out. So they have a level 70 Murasaki Shikaboo, a level 100 Artoria, level 80 Gil, level 70 Artoria Lancer, level 80 Maeve, level 80 Waver, level 80 Semiramis, level 70 Herc, level 80 John. That's on their normal.
Interesting. Yeah, it sounds to me like this person maybe hasn't been playing for a long time and they're like, maybe a little low on Ascension materials or EXP or something.
Alright, so, looking at the full picture, like, okay, maybe. But at the same time, I'm just all like...
That said, at some point, guys, you gotta knuckle down and get some stuff in.
Yeah,
I know some of my event servants are not, like, fully leveled, because, I mean, they're, it's how it is when they're not your everyday used. Everybody on my normal support setup is like, those are my best servants, so...
Yeah.
All my dedication. That's where all my Grailed servants go,
Oh shit, I should actually look at their level because I'm dumb. But I already yeeted them, so because I can't handle that. I can't handle looking at that.
Yeah.
But
this has been support corner. Fix your support list, guys. Like, we don't ask you to be perfect because we aren't, but a little bit of extra attention is nice.
I don't know if when we were streaming, people be like, anytime I'd be streaming, I was like, hey, we're gonna review some support setups. I'm just like, people just want me to tear into people's support setups, don't they? People just like it when people get mad at other people. Just cue that gif of Michael Jackson eating popcorn and Thriller.
Yeah, well, you have a very particular delivery as well, which is, I'm sure, what people are excited about. Okay, I think we've started making up for the no lucky time. I definitely feel like we've passed the point about either of us to say anything about CCC, other than the fact that obviously you didn't actually hear too much of Lucky's complaining.
My complaining it's pretty simple. Like, I don't understand why there's knight class bosses and full of cavalry class mobs. It makes it real hard for me to go ham with my lovely alter egos, except for Atomic Cat. She's technically an alter ego, but not.
Cat's still, she's a little bit tanky, but like she's not tanky enough to carry 3 full waves with bonus spawns tanky.
And I'm a little, like I said, this one got missed too. Like, I've only got like 40 missions done in CCC right now, so I think I'm gonna have to wait till the main interlude inclusion before I actually maybe get KP done. I know that I'm able to do her, but I still have to go through 9 fights, because she's the 10th one. 9 fights to get to her, and I'm just all like, I don't have that time. I don't have that kind of patience.
Yeah, no, I'm concerned about that myself. It's I've already done the first one, but it's 9 fights against like shadow servants with break bars. Even if they don't NP, that's just again, this is why I'm like, man, I'm so glad there's bonus damage on the next event, because it's the thing about, other than the fact that they're mixed class nodes, I think it's the thing that hurts CC the most is that like the only bonus damage you get is that you get some interesting class combo matchups. Like alter egos are introduced, which do better damage versus some, but then they fuck you over and they still make you fight Karna. How dare?
How dare?
But okay, I think it's time for Lucky to fully step in there.
Yeah.
And to deliver the mailbag.
All right, mailbag.
How does the mailbag get delivered to us? How does this work? The lore, Lucky. The lore.
Yeah. I don't want to think about the lore right now. I want to think about this full mailbag, because that's right, everyone. It is time for Let's Talk FGO Mailbag, the segment where we read what you send in and then respond accordingly. Add a bit of menacing to that accordingly. You know why. So, looking at it this week, we have 40 entries. That's quite a bit. Now, we're not going to limit ourselves to an hour, but as I said, there's 40 of these. At some point, Lucky just being like, all right, I'm fucking done. And die.
Yeah, we'll do as much as we can before we shrivel up and die.
But, no time like the present. That's why it's a gift. And we start meow. This first one comes from the Eternal Storm, who says, hey guys, can't think of a question, just want to wish you both health and safety. Well, thank you very much. We wish the same to you. Take care. And we move on. This next one comes from Saber Faces. Saber Faces everywhere. They say, hey guys, another week, huh? Yeah. Anyways, my statement is both a joke and a question. Question, since we have Artoria for almost every class in the game, how soon do you think we'll have an alter ego or Avenger Artoria, not Saberface, but the real one, in the game? Probably summer.
I know.
That might
we
come
have
out
enough that you can actually put Artoria in every support slot, which is what Kawasumi-san herself wanted, so.
Yes. Like I said, maybe they'll pull out a Lancer Artoria Avenger, the altar. That could be fun. And who knows, alter ego? Who knows? They could do some weird stuff there.
Alter egos beat foreigners, right? You could do something funny with XXA.
Ah, yes, she hasn't got a she hasn't got a swimsuit yet.
Funny stuff going on there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, that answers that, but we must move on. Thank you very much. This one comes from first submission
with 2 question marks.
Answer to that, by the way, is no. But they say, hello, Lucky and Omega. Would you or have you guys ever tried making anything from Emiya Gohan? If you did, how did it turn out? If not, would you try? So I've only tried made one thing from Emiya Gohan. It was the bacon, egg, and vegetable sandwiches. And it wasn't exactly 1-for-1 because we don't actually, well, I don't know where to get those particular greens. Now, as much as I love today's menu with Emiya Family, it does have the slight cultural problem of being a Japanese show, usually using Japanese food. I feel like really racist saying it that way. But like some things like I definitely want to try, like making karage and other stuff. But there's just some things like I can't get like fucking taro over here. Well, I probably can, but I have to go to the Asian market, and that's a whole problem right now. Let's see here. I could like karage, maybe make a fluffy egg omelet, omu rice. But no, not in particular. Lucky's cooking repertoire is very, very focused, I want to say. Omega, do you have any cooking thoughts?
No.
He has none.
Guys, I had Maruchan instant lunch ramen for dinner tonight. That's me. Now, on the other hand, I did that also because it's fucking cheap. You can get like a dozen for $4.
Oh, yeah.
That's my cooking thoughts. Does it involve boiling water? I have an electric kettle. That works.
I love my electric kettle. It lights up blue. Like, yes, this is good.
I gotta admit, it's to tangent completely because we can. Because welcome to this episode. That was freaky. The first I think a week or so I worked with it, where you hear that boiling sound where it's just like it's hyper accelerated boiling in the kettle, and you're just like, okay, please don't explode. And then you get complacent. You get used to it. You're like, nah, it's fine. This is what boiling water sounds like.
Mm-hmm. No, we got our electric kettle like less than a month ago, and I'm just all like, all right, I need some hot chocolate on the now. That's great. I love it. Ours actually has a little thing that you can make an infuser in it and put tea in it, but I'm like, nah, that's too much hassle. Then I have to clean it later. I'm not doing that. I'm lazy. I got shit to do.
You've already got the boiling water. You just put a fucking tea bag in the water. It's tea. It's not rocket science.
Oh no, I don't think it can be rocket scientist. I've heard people go on about how to properly make a pot of tea. Yeah, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, people across the Atlantic there.
As a largely Anglo, I'm pretty sure the primary thing is you put the water in the kettle, you boil the water, you put the water in the cup, then you put in the tea bag.
Yeah, but there's also things about the first flush and steep time and a lot of science. But that is neither here nor there. I'm not going to talk about fucking tea. Well, I was talking about tea, but no more. I will stop myself talking about tea because that's no longer relevant. So thank you very much for your question. We're going to move on. This next one comes from the Dragon King, who says, "Hello, Omega and Drunk Researcher Lucky. I was wondering, what is your opinion on Melt? What do you like and dislike about her?" Well, I love her. Let's see. I like her tsundariness. Just like, I was like, I'm going to kill you, and she might actually kill you, but she loves you. I'm like, yes, this is good. I say as I am sporting multiple bloody wounds.
Yeah, I mean, so as a person, this is a me thing. I don't really, when people are yelling, "Please step on me," I'm the guy with the bat. I'm like, go back to horny jail. Bonk. I've never been a "please step on me" guy. Especially, again, because Melt literally has pointy metal feet. I'm just like, okay, all right. But at the same time, she is pretty... I like the bants, though. Like, I think sometimes it's CCC, so, like, yeah, her fetish goes too far, and I'm just like, all right, Melt, calm down, okay? Calm down. I'll hold your hands that you can't feel. And then she metaphorically melts. But, like, she's a lot of fun. This event's really good at what do you call it? Like, showcasing her, because again, we talked about this before, even in Japan, not a super lot of people. Like, I'm pretty sure at this point in JP, FGO had more downloads than copies of CCC sold.
Mm-hmm.
So, like it was a good intro to her character, and I think they do really good, and that's great. Also, I like her because she's an alter ego, and she kicks cavalry classes to death a lot. It's good. It's great. I wish her skills were a little less fucky. Anyway, let's move on to the next question.
Moving on to the next question. So, thank you very much for that. This next one comes from the guy hiding from Saint and Goddess after they started fighting to see who fights a schoolgirl. Question: if all the masters of the Fourth Halo War had an author of their respective class, who do you think would have won? Sorry, Lucky couldn't brain there for a second.
I think the obvious answer to this question is Arthur would have won.
Yes. So, with that squarely answered, let us move on. This next one comes from Gahulian God, who says, "I have a question regarding singularities. Were they always a naturally occurring phenomenon, or did they only take root only because of Gaetia's attempt to incinerate human history, similar how to the events in Salem led to the Outer Gods finding the opportunity to reach our world due to the boundary breaking down?"
That second thing.
Yes.
So, technically, I believe with the way, like, the founding of the Chaldea Security Organization is phrased, singularities were like a research topic that could hypothetically happen, but no, they're artificial. They are created by certain circumstances.
Like Grails.
Yeah. So, like, Chaldea did the legwork in researching the singularity phenomena, but they do not occur naturally, as far as I know.
Yeah, remember, in the heart of every singularity, there's a holy grail usually using a vast amount of magical energy to fuck things up in one way or another. It's like, no holy grail, no singularity.
The holy grail is the electric kettle. Producing the tea that is your singularity. I brought it back. Your singularity. Get it?
Oh no. No.
Oh no, I went there.
No, he went there. I'm done. I'm fucking done.
Episode over. No Lucky.
No more Lucky.
Smash cut. Hold on, let me stop the recording and turn off the bit where I get the capture the... No, I'm kidding.
Alright.
I'm probably going to do the dumb thing and just... I'll do the 5 extra steps to loop my audio even when I'm solo recording now, just so I don't do that again. Checks and balances, guys.
Checks and balances. So, Gahulian God, there you go. Thank you very much. We're going to move on. This next one comes from Mooncell Master, Warden of Horny Jail. Must be very full. They say, "Hello, Lucky Omega. No question this week. Just sending good vibes. Ciao." Back to you, my dude. Thank you very much. We move on. This next one comes from Suna, stuck in QP hell yet again. They say, "Hey guys, I can only hope things have gone well for y'all this week. If not, at least it's the weekend. Amen to that." So I was wondering, which hell do you both prefer if you can choose? QP hell, Matt hell, Skill Cookie hell, or Ember hell?
I would like to choose no hell.
Yes, I would like to choose no hell, please, thanks. Bye. But if I have to choose from this list, I'll choose Ember Hell because I can always farm Embers, no matter what.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I feel like out of these, like, yes, you can farm QP all the time too, but the values are very sketchy. Like, it's not great, but the ratio of Embers you get out of a 40 AP Ember run are still decent. You can get a lot of work there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess theoretically I'm in quote-unquote Ember Hell right now, in that I don't have many Embers. I got some Embers out of my clearing my 30 friend points for the week. including 5 stars. I usually see those every handful of spins, But I don't have any more banked than that. But it's an easy problem to solve. And if they give us that week for interludes, I'll probably do that instead. Because, like I said, I only have 2 interludes out of that list. Or did I say that on mic even? I think we might have been speculating earlier. I don't know. Mm-hmm. What even is on mic? Who
Probably
knows?
the part where we talk into a microphone and it's recorded onto the internet for all posterity, much to our, what's the word I want to say? Immense disappointment. Listen, there's sometimes I go back and look at old stuff and I'm just all like, oh god, why? And I writhe on the ground.
But which parts were even recorded?
Who knows?
The audience knows.
The audience knows.
All right.
Anyway, thank you very much for this. We're going to move on. This next one comes from 418. Who says, hello, Lucky and Omega. Hope you're having a good weekend and good lucky on your CBC if you're rolling. I am not. They go on to say, P.S. I hope I get some birthday luck on the matter. Well, happy birthday to you, and I wish you all the luck. Take my energy. You may touch my feet if you wish. Or lucky. So,
just when he says that, insert my eye narrowing gif.
So, moving on. This next one comes from the FGO Toaster Technician. Nice alliteration. They say, hello, Lucky Omega and I thought you just didn't have quotes. No, you're just doing that. Okay. Hello, Lucky Omega and Omega Lucky. My question is, as the Lost Spells is trimmed and no one is around to observe it, did the Lost Spells exist? Have a good weekend and less crappy rules. The answer is most definitely, maybe. Moving on.
Hypothetically.
So thank you very much. This next one comes from me. It's me, Burial Gut. And yoit. Just yeet. No, we shall not yeet. But they say, hi, Lucky and Omega. I hope you're doing good. That's it. Same to you, my dude. No, we're not doing good.
I don't know why I'm doing the dad jokes tonight.
I don't know why either. Stop. You're embarrassing me.
I think that's it. I think I've already been embarrassed by the audio fuck up. I just have no shame left.
Oh, no.
Like, I've got nothing left to hold in. I'm just like, well, welcome to the episode, guys.
Oh, no. We have gone beyond Omega to shameless Omega. I was not prepared.
Well, let's keep firing on all cylinders.
Oh, God, I need a siren. Anyway, so we're going to move on. This next one comes from Boredom Borson. Yes. And they say, what's the probability Tomovich will have her own story-focused chapter like Doman? I want to say, I give it 50-50. From what I can tell, Tomovich gets a fair amount of character action in each Lost Belt. When you consider it, it actually makes her a major recurring character.
Yeah. I thought about this one when I saw it randomly scrolling my YouTube alerts. And it's like, that is a good question. Because Doman, we've known that he would be in this story for forever because they gave him a little trailer when it started. But at least, right, we're in Lost Belt 3. Lost Belt 4 is soon. We've heard hide nor hair of this guy, basically. Like, I think they've mentioned vaguely the alter egos working for the alien god a couple of times, but I don't even remember if they fucking name dropped him yet, right? Like, usually,
like, I think that he literally said, like, at one point he was in an area and refused to fucking leave. And that's all we've heard of him. Like,
yeah, so, like, he was a character that they are deliberately playing close to the vest, even though they've already revealed that he's in it. Like, they aren't extra focusing on him, whereas Vitch has been, like, everywhere since Lost Belt Prologue. Like, there's always some new costume or something for her every new time she keeps showing up. Like, the only question I have is, does she show up in both Lost Belt 5 parts? I don't actually know. I don't remember. You know, because they did actually split Lost Belt 5 into 2 parts. But I assume between the 2 of them, she's in one of them at least. You know, she's in there somewhere, right?
Like, I don't know, like, honestly, me, personally, I don't think Tomovich will have her conclusion in a story chapter, but they might put her in a little event, maybe something akin to CCC and OQ.
In before first boss of Lost Belt 6, Tomovich final.
Oh god, no.
We can be reasonably sure, not yet though, because we're pretty sure I'm pretty sure if there was a fox-eared silhouette, we've seen so many fucking silhouettes of Vitch that somebody would have fucking figured that out by now.
Yeah, probably. No, like I said, we like, over the course of these 3 Lost Belts, we've unpacked a lot of what's going on with Vitch, so her to reveal, like, maybe some, big power move would kind of make sense, but at the same time, I don't think it necessarily jives with what's going on with with Lost Belt 6, most definitely not. But in Lost Belt 7, I think that's going to be a weird trip for a completely different reason, so who knows, maybe another, I don't think necessarily like a story chapter like 5.5, but maybe something along the lines of CCC or OQ.
Mm.
But that's Lucky Thoughts. Meg, do you have anything you want to say differently?
No, I think you said your piece pretty good, and I summed up a lot of my thoughts earlier. It's just kind of, like you said, she's a character we keep seeing anyway. It's, it's actually not a really good comparison in even part 1, like, as far as antagonists go, because, like, yeah, we kind of see, quote-unquote, Solomon a lot, but, like, nobody's actually been with us since day 1 that was, like, an ongoing, evolving antagonist, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty interesting to see how they handled that. And honestly, it makes me kind of wish, they'd actually done that better in part 1. Like, can you imagine if, like they tried to do this with Lev, but then they immediately, like, jobbed him out in Septum as soon as the starter story ended?
Yeah.
Like, imagine if they'd actually, like, kept him going until maybe London, when quote-unquote Solomon, shows up for that first time. That would have actually probably had a lot more throughput. But no, instead, Altera just cuts him in half after he becomes a demon pillar, and it's weird.
Alrighty. So, there's that. What do you want, phone? Silence. Yeet! I probably shouldn't have yeeted it. I need to charge it. Lucky's using a wireless charger, so it actually has to stay near him, but for some odd reason, I keep getting vibrations. Like, who is messaging me? Stop that. You're rude. No, it's my Chinese web novels. How dare. They're updating. Alright, so, thank you very much for that. Much brain thoughts. But we must move on. This next one comes from a masked man offering strange bargains, who says, no question this week, but just wanted to thank you guys for doing these podcasts. I really get to listen to them the week they come out, but I always continue to play the Black Hog whenever I'm cooking. Thanks again, and good luck when Kama rolls around. This is me telling you to check your burner and not to confuse the sugar with the salt.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to them. Even if it's late, listen to them whenever.
No, not that one! Sorry, I just hope it catches them at that moment. Anyway, we move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from making a tarot deck while flip-flopping between 2 ideas. And they say, hey guys, I have a simple question. What costume release so far is your favorite? I know there was a question or two about which costumes you want in-game in the past, but I can't recall if the question I'm asked has been asked before. If it has been asked before, you don't have to answer it. Anyways, I shall head back to doing what my alias is for the week. Head straight to the void. Do I have a particular favorite costume?
We actually brought it up. People have definitely asked about what costumes we want before. People may have asked us what our favorite costume is. I don't remember.
I really don't have an answer either.
Let me see if I can find a good list. Lists are great. I bet there is a list, because I'm pretty sure there's a list of arcade costumes. Let's see, what do we got? Like, costumes are cool, but most of them aren't, like, super freaky good. Like, let me see. I'm double-checking. Half these we don't even have yet.
Like, Maves has always been pretty on point for me, and Nira's has always made me laugh, but none of these have, I really will say, I dig this.
Yeah, no, like, a lot of these are neat. I forgot that they actually did the, like for Da Vinci Small, they actually did her arcade costume, the sailor suit type thing as a separate standalone. I'm like, oh, that's adorable, but, like, not a lot of these are, like, my favorite, Mm-hmm. Like, the new Amakusa one's pretty cool. The thing they did for, like, Kentucky, that's neat. I
will tell you, though, when we get Piercing Bunny, that will become my favorite.
Yeah. I think overall, like... Hold on. Fighting a sneeze.
Fighting a sneeze.
Alright. Excuse me. Sorry about that. What I was going to say was that I think the costume concepts I like the best, and I'm glad that they implemented both of them over time, is the 2 Shinjuku ones, because those are really neat to see in story, and I am actually glad they brought those back, and, they did Jalter, and then later they will do Saber Alter. Like, that's cool. I like that. I still, in fact, do use that one. I don't know. I mean, like, there is, like, for me personally, there is memories of Trifus, when they do the Apocrypha rerun, they'll do Casual Mordred as well. I'm like, that's cool, I guess, but also, I mean, there's also just regular Mordreds, too. Like, it's, a lot of costumes are, like, cute extra details, but I don't usually feel like, it's not that one SpongeBob I Need It meme, right?
Right.
Which, obviously, for Lucky, none of them are, because none of them are Tomo costumes, duh.
I die every time.
But yeah, mostly I think it's like neat, but I still feel like they haven't gone all the way with it, right? Like, there's a couple of fun ones. Oh, I didn't even realize. Wow. So they actually, that's funny. I didn't even see that before. I didn't realize, apparently if you complete the story of Valentine's, they actually have a Karen costume for Devil Karen, which is Karen, but purple. Literally, her skin is purple. That's neat. That's a cool detail, but like,
Me? Anyway.
Wait, no, hold on. I think I figured it out.
Okay.
I've got it. I've got the perfect answer. I forgot that this was a thing. That's right. They did a reverse Summer BB with Summer Musashi, where she actually has a costume for extra tan and tan lines. That's the best one. That's the perfect one. There.
That is powerful. Too powerful. Oh, I'm glad we'll be getting it this year. So anyway, now, finally, we can move on. So thank you very much for that. And we move on to, oh my god, Vlad, please stop using morph. And Vlad goes, never.
Enemy skills are bullshit.
They are bullshit. But they say, hey, look at Omega, just wanted to take a quick break from the salt mines and hope you're having an aight day. Y'all are great, and don't let that shifty guy on the windowsill tell you otherwise.
You hear that? Fuck you, windowsill guy.
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, that's what we got.
Yeah, that's all we got. No, it's good. Nope, I hope you are doing okay, too. And we move on. This next one comes from Zed, just Zed. They say, comment, hey, Lucky Omega, as I wait for Comments Matter to drop, I do hope your gacha waiting sessions and grinds are going well. They are not. Question, what's your two's favorite type of ice cream? And to force this into Fate territory, if there was an ice cream event and Fate that worked like the Valentine's event, what servant do you think would have the best ice cream giving scene? So, Lucky's favorite type, it's mint choco. And for best ice cream giving scene, clearly it's Scotty.
Yeah, I was about to say, actually, memes aside, Scotty. That's literally a thing with her, is about the ice cream. Also, I'm a cookie dough guy. Cookie dough.
Yep. So, that is that. So thank you very much. We move on. This next one comes from the one in monk mode to prevent wallet despair. Listen. No amount of enlightenment will save you from despair.
But buying cheap ramen will save your wallet.
Anyway, they say, question, considering the upcoming Moriarty event has a command code that deals extra damage versus good enemies, do you guys think it'd be better to give it to a servant who you expect to fight a class that is highly populated by good servants, examples rulers, or to one servant who you expect to use against a very particular enemy, even if you don't think you'll see much benefit 90% of the time you use the servant?
Yes.
Actually, can't you remove command codes with the remover and still keep the command code?
Yes, if it's a custom command code, if it's not one of the friend point ones, those are just... Actually, fuck, you don't even need the remover. You can literally overwrite, 1 and 2 star command codes. But yes, no, that's why they give you removers, is so you can unbolt them if you need to.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Like, honestly, Lucky doesn't really consider comms when he throws on command codes. I like this person, they get a command code. This is why Tamamo literally has the Tamamo fucking command codes and whatnot, why BB's gonna get the BB command codes and all those things. That's literally how I do it. It's all yes, theming, appropriate. So,
I'd probably throw this command code on Jolter, just because it seems like it makes sense and it would be funny, right? But it's still removable. You can do a lot of shifting. I've got a lot of command codes I haven't used yet because I haven't decided who to optimally do them on. My Jean has full command codes, actually, because I actually got, the heal and stuff, and that was pretty easy to do and pretty reliable. But I haven't really done a lot with it, so it's definitely open-ended. I would say to answer your core question, the thing is to be like I said, yes. The answer I think is actually both or neither. It's what do you want to do? How do you want to use your command codes? It costs you a bit of QP to put them on and unlock, and it takes an unlocker to unlock every servant's card. But if you're this gives me bonus damage versus good, I should stick this on my Avengers so I can do extra damage to rulers who are usually good, etc. Or you can stick it on Moriarty or whatever. Or be I'm going to use this character specifically to fight these servants. I bet I could make a command code work here. That's all on you for that kind of strategy, my dude.
Yeah, but if I have to pick between the former and the latter, I go with the former.
I think that makes the most sense because it's the least fiddly.
Yes. But that, as they say, is that. So thank you. We move on. This next one comes from, how can one shark girl be so freaking cute? The answer is ah. So, they say, ahoy, Lucky Omega. How are ya? Meh. Just wanted to ask, any thoughts on doing a beginner's guide to FGO? I find it interesting to listen to what more experienced players pass on, and those videos seem to have good engagement. Also, does the Church of Curvetology have a holy text? No, but I should make one.
I'm just imagining, that meme, and it's this is just a drawing of a butt.
Yes, it's a good butt.
Okay, so to the actual question here, beginner's guide. I feel like maybe theoretically in the past, we've been doing this for nearly 4 years, 3 years, 4 years, 4 years, I think. Yeah, 4. This is episode 180 right now, so we're getting close to 200, which is about 4, because 52 weeks in a year, yay. So I'm sure the thought has crossed our minds. I admit I'm not like super personally driven towards that project. I don't actually know how much engagement we would get, It's always a dice roll on like getting wholly new viewers versus old viewers, and I feel like most people wouldn't. We could always, think about it as a try, but I don't know. It's like Lucky, would you have an easy time separating out your like early FGO thoughts, like your beginning level FGO thoughts, to your more advanced FGO thoughts? Like, I don't know if I could actually like, if I could do a way to break out my own unique beginner's thoughts separate from just what everybody's fucking saying, because we have been doing this so long.
Well, like, honestly, it might be like, if I was to do something, I would not necessarily like, I wouldn't like make it so serious. I kind of make it a parody, almost like what learning what manga is. So I would just like, I would give information, but I would add just a bunch of stupid dumb jokes and just basically regurgitate what a whole bunch of other people are saying, because at that point, just as many people would be coming for the memes as where they would be for the actual information. As long as it delivers the information in concise enough fashion, I think it'd be fine. And I think I could. So because I think I could separate it out, because at the end of the game, like, no matter how advanced your strategy is, it always boils down to the same basic concepts.
All right, fair enough. You said you would approach it in a different way. Okay.
Yeah. So, but like I said, this is not a project that I would consider doing anytime soon. Definitely, I got way too much shit on my plate. Lucky was literally had his art program up yesterday. He's like, I'm a doodle. I should write down all the things I need to doodle, and as my list got past 6 entries, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not okay with it.
I want to throw this out there. Somebody did throw this out in chat. We do pro tips every week. Like, we make sure to throw out new knowledge when we get it or when we think stuff will be relevant again.
Mm.
In our long form format. Now, obviously, a beginner can't listen to all of our episodes all the time, right? Because, we have done almost 200 of these. But definitely if you want to, like, if you're a newer player and you want to follow our journey through the new times, it'll be rough, but consider going back and listening to some of our earlier episodes.
Like,
I will not actually recommend to anyone to go back to number 1 and start. If you do so, this is like one of those, this is not a stock tips. It's like, listen, I can't in good conscience tell you to go back and start from episode 1, but hypothetically, you could do that.
It's like, I would like start like with like, like the basic concepts, like, get your transfer code, make sure you understand where your friend codes are, how support setups work. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of things I would talk about before even actually getting into just, all right, time to punch servants or punch mobs.
Mm-hmm. And if, speaking about VFX stuff, like if we had a little bit easier of a setup where we could like do some more interesting projects in a timelier manner, like you said that, I'm like, that'd be funny if we could put like make a slideshow, but also do like a fake slideshow within the slideshow kind of thing, right? Where like you could doodle like somebody like showing a PowerPoint presentation in the actual frame of the video that you see, right? But I'm like, but that's like multiple layers and like masking and stuff and like animation frames we'd need, and I'm like, that sounds like a lot of work for us right now. I don't know if we got the like you said, I don't know if we got the time for that.
Yeah.
Like, right, but, I'd love to kick up our production value a little bit on some of this stuff, but it's still a little up in the air.
All right, we'll get there. Let me add to the list holy text of curvatology. Yes, perfect. Okay. So, thank you very much for that. Many thoughts were had, but we move on. This next one comes from Seeker of Casino King Bun Bun, who says, "Oh, this is interesting."
Yeah, hold on. Sorry, I'm staring at this one with narrowed eyes. Like, what?
So, I know the voice of this. Praise be to his holy vicar, Bishop of Rolling Lands, Sovereign Pontiff of the Twin Peaks. This humble follower asks that your great partner, the Sword of Endings, be released, so he may cut down all who oppose the righteous path of thickness, and those who think it wise to put the goddess of quick means in the event support slot when she is not an event bonus servant. May the rabbit of Titani reign long.
Yay.
Yay. So basically this guy was just being like, hey, Lucky, can you please unleash a Mega so we can go kill everyone who's putting Scotty on their fucking support setups? Okay, thanks,
Already
bye.
done. They're dead, dude. They're all dead.
Did I mention the curvatology in this setup? Is that what I'm getting? Yes, I did.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's that because slight tangent. As I said, Lucky's been playing FF14, and like I said, I threatened / blackmailed / bullied a bunch of people into joining. A free company, which I clearly named the Church of Curvatology, and it's all about butts and curves and stuff because I'm an animal. I'm a horny animal. You can't bonk me, I'll bonk you. That sounds wrong. No.
Immediate regret.
Immediate regret.
That said, somebody do me the reverse go to horny jail meme. Like let the dog grab the bat and be like, I am the one who bonks.
Yes, Architect, yes, that's clearly why there was instant regret.
Alright, okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep fighting the fight.
Keep fighting the fight. Alright. So thank you very much for that. This next one comes from a very tired master in need of a break. I know this feel.
Yep, no, I remember this question.
Question, do either of you have any servants still at level 1? I was looking through my servant list and realized how lazy I am at level my servants. I have as many servants at level 1 as I do levels 2 through 100. Please don't roast me too bad about this. It annoys me too. No, you don't get roasted for this one. Hang on, let me actually see if I can find out how many level 1 servants I have here. Hang on.
I can actually answer this question for me while Lucky is looking it up. I don't actually. I think every single servant I have has some levels in them, just because there was an earlier time when there was nothing else to do, so I spread them out. That said, yeah, I definitely have servants who are incompletely leveled. And there have definitely been times when I've had people at level 1. I don't think I've got anybody at level 1 right now, because Fionn was in that jail for a long time, but I needed him leveled for the Sparrow event, so I think that he was the last one to be let out. Everybody else I've at least tried to put some levels in.
Alright, hang on. Let me see here. So that's 5, 11, 17, 23, 29, 35, 41, 47, 53, 59. Wait, no. 59.
Oh, shit, we are
58,
actually
48.
the bottom half of this.
58. I have 58 level 1 servants out of 211.
By the way, if anybody wants to complain to Lucky about that, do remember the number he said following that was 211. That's, it's very close to the number of servants who are in this game currently, I believe. I think we're at 217? 218?
No. I know there's more that I'm missing than that. Hang on.
Is it?
Let me see here.
It's pretty close, because I remember there was we recently had the list of, yeah, I can check pretty easy, actually. Pull it up. Servants.
Wait, does this list have all my fucking... Oh, okay, no, wait.
So I am off by about 20, but it's 238 currently with King Persia. Yeah. So still, that's... You're within a quarter century of the target zone there. Yeah. That's still a lot.
I spend way too much money on this game, y'all. And I said, it's it's the first world problem. It's every time I roll a new servant, I now have another servant I need to level. And I never have the QP amount for this. I never do. So, Tony Garku, there you go. So no, I'm not gonna roast you, my dude, because there's a lot, honestly, the worst thing too is most of those servants are male servants. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Heck, let's see here. Actually, let me pull that back up. Let me pull that back up again. Let's see here. Because I did, a lot of my lower level male servants I did take care of, because I'm hey, they good for shit. But, let's see here. Here, I'm just gonna read this out. Alright, so at level 1, I have Amakusa, Caligula, Eric, Lubu, Darius, Herc, Lancelot, Beowulf, Penth, I know not a dude, but she's still down there. Zhangyu, fucking Jekyll. Then we got 100 Persona, Serenity, Izo, Emiya Alter, Yan King, Assassin Periosa. It just goes on and on and on. Mostly males. By the way,
this does answer a question that was not recorded earlier, but Lucky did ask himself about, do I have an Amakusa? The answer is yes. He's level 1 though.
Yeah.
Well, Lucky, you got 2 years to fix that before a bonus.
Axe, be silent. There's no need for that for a comment.
This is actually a very unnecessary comment. Most of my janky lower level servants are in fact my male silver and bronzes.
Let's see here.
Though occasionally it's new golds I don't know what to do with, but no, it's usually just did I use this servant directly immediately in the starting game? Then no, they may have missed the window on rapid leveling. I'll probably get everybody eventually, but it's definitely a slow roll.
Let's see here.
I say I'll get everybody eventually, by the way, though, because I don't roll constantly like he does.
Yeah, let's see here. I got an Arjuna level 1, a Gilgamesh level 1, Enkidu level 1, Brynhildr level 1, Karna level 1, Ozymandias level 1. That's just Merlin level 1.
I would just say some of that stuff is like, well, some of these are bonus servants in this event. Maybe you should have done a little work on that. Then again, when did you have time, though?
I don't.
Karna was pretty recent, right? Like that was
Karna was fairly recent.
Late last year? Yeah.
Like, see, Sean, you I have a fuck ton of SSRs. Like, I didn't list everyone because like we'd be here for a fucking eternity.
No, you can't get somebody to farm members for you. That's not how that works. It's literally not allowed. Though hypothetically, if we did have a combined studio, I could totally see like somebody just sitting in a room while they work on something else with both of our phones, just mashing buttons for embers. But that's a future funny problem.
Let's see here. And Altera is also level 1. Like I said, it's more males than females, but there's still definitely quite a few women here that have not gotten love.
I mean, like you say, oh, Altera's on here. I'm like, yeah, of course she is. You had an NP5 Saber that you only recently leveled up max as well by deliberate choice. And I know that if I remember correctly from the last time you spoke about this situation, you were actually making sure when you had spare embers to go through and level up everybody in order of which you receive them.
Yeah.
That does, however, bias you towards old-ass silvers and bronzes.
Yes. By the way, my Ozymandias, that level 1 Ozymandias is MP3, by the way.
Yeah, I figured. He said that earlier. He's got like 211, right? Yeah.
It's like, oof.
Like, don't ask him to also... He's got 211 unique servants. Don't ask him to also count MP levels. We will be here literally all day. We don't have time for that, especially considering I believe we're over halfway through.
All right. So... Yeah, no, so, do not worry, a very tired master. I throw no shade. So, we move on, though. Thank you very much. The next one comes from, there can only be one Bicone.
Sorry, Axe, I have to interrupt you. Lucky I have to interrupt you. Axe, like, were you literally not paying attention, like, 5 minutes ago? Like, this is live. I didn't even have the excuse of, like, Lucky's audio cut out. Like, literally every question you've asked, we said at the start of this. Were you there?
Well, he might have just got here. Like, I don't know when he got showed up. This is the first thing he said.
He didn't just get here, though. I know. I've seen him type earlier.
Oh, did he?
Okay, yeah, he did step away. All right, well, listen back to the audio later. Sorry, I interrupted you talking about the Highlander Macone.
Yes, there can only be one in this game of Highlander. But, they say, good evening or morning. Did you guys beat the King Protea channel quest? And if so, what comps did you use to take her down? Personally, I used Gahawk to do 2.4 million damage after King Protea removes her buffs on turn 2021. Again, good luck on the rolls, and hope you get Kama. How did you do 2.4 million? See, here's the thing. Like, unfortunately...
that might require multiple NP levels on Skahawk, and is definitely, like, max skills, and then Scotty, maybe? For the quick buff?
Probably.
I don't know the exact math. I have a strategy that I'm gonna use, but to answer your question, I muttered this to myself earlier. No, we have not.
No, we have not. Lucky hasn't really thrown himself in the KP challenge because he doesn't know what he's gonna fucking do. He really honestly doesn't. Like, honestly, he might have to just fall back to stall strats, because I think my highest hitting combo right now is just to go all in on Berserker Flav and let him rip. I let him rip, he only does 500k. I'm just like, shit. That's not enough. It's not fucking enough.
Yeah, sadly, Castoria doesn't exist yet, which I think would probably be the, like, turbocharge arts to have Vlad do extra damage and go for spins, but it's still a little awkward, yeah.
So, and even when I go for stall strats, then I have the problem I have to stall fucking 2 million down. I'm just like, I don't want to think about this.
Well, you have to stall down 2 million during a certain number of turns, after which she starts regenning, you know?
Yeah.
It's a very weird challenge. I will definitely, I hope I have enough time to try it. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, putting a challenge quest behind 9 other quests. It seems a little asinine to me. Hopefully I can try it before the event ends, but if it doesn't, well, there's management later.
That's what I'm banking on. So. Thank you very much for that. We move on. This next one comes from Amakusa Shira, aka Mr. Steal Your Grail. And they say, hope y'all having a meh day at worst. For which characters did your opinion change the most drastically after seeing a different interpretation of them? For example, based on FSN, I only saw Gil as an irredeemable jerk, but now that I follow him to the ends of the earth after seeing him in Babylonia.
I think that's most people.
That's most people.
A lot of people still liked Gil, and I still don't know what they were on about. I guess technically he had a more positive portrayal in CCC, but again, that's a very narrow slice of people.
Yeah, I know. Cancer Gil is bestest. But, like, to be fair, I can't really say I had a drastic change about Gil, because Archer Gil is still a fucking asshole. Caster Gil is where it's at. I'm like, this boy, he cool.
Karstarm, maybe? Like,
Karstarm?
he's just like a movie monster in Heaven's Feel, and like has no character, and then he has character in FGO. That's how it works.
He is best uncle. He's just great.
That's a pretty drastic shift, I guess.
I still just love his Valentine's. It's like, I don't know what's going on, but I made you a throw. And I'm like, I love this. Thank you. It's the best. Gwen and Tristan are fairly notable in their own way. I guess Camelot was a lot of their... Again, if you hadn't played Extra or CCC, you did not have a lot of characterization for them, so you just see, like, these boys are just fucking murder happy. What the actual fuck? And CCC is, speaking of, is actually one of the things that helped turn a lot of people around on them. I'm trying to actually think here if there's someone drastically. Carmilla? Kind of. At first, I was just like, what is this girl on about? And then I actually got around to using her and playing around with her and seeing her in Halloween and stuff. I'm like, oh no, she's just kind of a big dork. She's an evil big dork. And Fue has helped a lot with this, for reasons.
I mean, that's one of those things that's like, while they did a weird move that they don't do a lot in FGO anymore. They self-obfuscated and is like, ooh, she's Carmilla, but really she's Elizabeth Bathory, but big. That said, once you take that into context, if you've met Liz, even if she's MILF Liz, it's like, you're still Liz, though. You're still... I know they don't like each other, but that's one of those things where, like, even after 30 years, you're still a little bit you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, there's only so much that you can change, and everybody should know this. Liz is an enormous dork. She is a dork kaiju. So even if Carmilla loses some of that, she's still a huge dork.
And it's great. Also, I'll put Tomacat on this list as well, because as I like telling this, but Tomacat was actually my starting SR, and I was just all like, oh my god, what am I going to do with this character? She just dies so quick. Then I invested a little bit of time in her, and she just started murdering everything all the way. She carried me through things, and it's just like, oh no, she's the best. She's wife. But other than that, no, usually I don't necessarily have negative thoughts about servants, especially not now. Now Lucky has reached this fucking this empathy level towards servant. I'm just all like, it is how it is. Very zen. Much enlightened.
I mean, I will say this. The question is phrased as your opinion changed most drastically. So, like, no opinion to a very positive opinion could still be drastic. I think that's fair for some of these questions. Like I said, like with Karstarm earlier. Like, some of these characters we just, like, have no opinion on, and then suddenly we're like, oh shit, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's our thoughts.
Well, thank you very much. We must move on, though.
Because we've only got...
This next one comes from another waiver banner incoming. Oh damn, here we go again. They say, hello Lucky Omega, hope your CCC journey is a fun one. Mine has been relatively easy, except with the detour quest. Those were hard. Thank God for free-to-play guides. This person doesn't know me well. So question, of the 3 beasts we have seen so far in NA, which is your favorite? I personally have to go with Kiara, the whole shtick of a... Do I want to say this is kind of spoilers now that I look at it?
I mean, there's 2 days left in the event, Lucky.
Yeah.
And it's a rerun. We might as well.
That's fair.
We're well outside of our grace period.
All right, fair. I personally have to go with Kiara. The whole shtick of a demon possessing a human and corrupting them is cliche as hell, but the human, Uno reversing the position, corrupting the demons back and mentally destroying them was awesome. Terrifying, but awesome. That is Kiara in a nutshell. It's like, she's sexy and she's horny, but I don't want to be alone in the room with her for any extended period of time, you know?
Yeah, that's very interesting. Especially given how demon pillars are treated usually, that's definitely a fun little take.
Mm-hmm.
Love the use of the Uno reverse language there. That said, I think both of us are probably going to say Tiamat.
Yeah.
Just because they do a lot with Tiamat, considering she's only in one story. Like, she's very integral to that. They do a lot of characterization back and forth between, like, Gorgon pretending to be her, using her authority, Femme Fatale, and then giant Godzilla Tiamat. They even went so far as to add, like, extra characterization in the anime.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have done a lot with Tiamat, and I think, honestly, out of the 3 beasts we talked about, she's the most sympathetic one I understand, right? The most? Like...
Yeah, no. I can understand, like, here's the thing, I can understand, Gaetia.
Yeah.
Kiara, you literally can't. Kiara's,
God, there's a word for this. Is it solipsism? It's
whatever
that thing about how she she
solipsism.
thinks only about herself and relates herself to the world. She is the only human, therefore. So it's like
she loves all humans. That's how she works.
Yeah. So like that kind of sets up a like almost impossible level of empathy to be like, oh, I understand you, Kiara. I was like, no, wait a minute. That's not.
You can't. You literally can't.
Yeah, that's not how most people function. Like, Gaetia, I wouldn't say is my favorite, but yeah, his plan is understandable. The thing is just, and I love how they set this up with him being the beast of pity, where it's like, yeah, no, also you're a fucking asshole though. Like that's the whole like meta commentary behind his design and his plot is, okay, I understand it, but also fuck you. Whereas Tiamat is like, as the beast of regression, is like just. That's the thing everybody has to tangle with, like, a combination of, like, empty nest versus growing up and, like, people changing, world changing, and then trying to go back, right, kind of a thing. Like, it's much more understandable and, like, especially when you put it in the mythological context, the mythographic context of, also, it's legit Tiamat, right? Like, think about these three. Like, Gaetia's kind of original character. Like, he's a hybrid of all the Ars Gaetia, the Lesser Key of Solomon demons, but also, like, that's not how the Ars Gaetia is a book, guys.
Yeah.
It's a so, like, book. They did something interesting with that. They did a Fate Kit Bash, right? Kiara is Kiara. They took a character an OC who was already basically described as a beast in CCC, right? But also, Nazu probably hadn't finished up that language yet.
Yeah.
Like, if they did a CCC remake, I expect that it would be a spot-on call / back to the CCC event now with FGO, right? But the language wasn't as clear back then. But Tiamat is a character in a Fate narrative. It's got all this stuff going on, but also she is the goddess Tiamat, so her reasoning for, like, why she's a little miffed, she's a little nettled right now, actually directly follows her mythological context, right? Like, they did, in fact, your children did rebel and kind of boop your snoot and throw you in the ocean, and take control of your ability to produce all life. Now, you might have been also causing a fucking problem in our neighborhood with all these monsters, but, like, it's got a direct story context that matters in the greater story, as well as then we have our own personal narrative relationship with Tiamat. It's great. I can only hope that as we run into future beasts and beast candidates, they get as much detail in story as they do with Tiamat.
Yes.
Like, and to be fair, with Kiara as well, it's just that, again, the way Kiara's beastness, her sin is written is very, like deliberately kind of off-putting. It's, like, hard to wrap your brain around.
Like I said, Lucky's horning on main, but as I said, again, Kiara's just one of the things of all, like, it's like, I'm glad you're here, but please don't be in a room with me. I'll be scared.
You always need your Hans whistle.
Yes. But I am excited to see what happens with her in OQ, though, along with Kama.
Yeah. Because, hey, spoilers, she's going to be in OQ.
Yes.
Because she's on the second half of the banner. That's why there's no Kiara rerun banner right now. It's because they planned it. They'll do it in like a month.
Gotcha.
Or at this stage, probably like 2 weeks-ish.
Oh, God. I don't have the quartz for this.
3 weeks, maybe? Because it's the second half banner, so it's like a week after it starts, so maybe like 3-ish weeks.
Oh, man, I might take some of this Moriarty time to maybe clean up some old content, like some interlude breakups and free quests, yeah.
Well, for interludes, save it for that interlude campaign. There should be half AP on all interludes, so you can clean them up a little bit faster.
That might be a good idea. Anyway, but enough on that. Much great talks. Nah, I don't want to mention. I'm gonna maybe mention that some other time. But yeah, so we move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Rotsiv, king of finally getting the Helena spaceship figure that came out last year shipped to me. Congratulations! I hope you have a nice spot for it. But they say, hey, you two, do you guys have any Fate figures that you have / are planning on getting eventually? I managed to get myself a neat little collection, but I'm especially happy about my new Helena and Sheeta figures that are both arrived over the Oops, I did not mean to thumbs down that. I meant to click read more. Over the last month. Thanks for your time and good luck with your future roles. As soon as Lucky makes it big, I'll be buying all the fucking figures. I'll be buying all the fucking Talamo figures. I'll be buying all the Raiko figures. I'll be buying all the Ishtar and Ereshkigal figures. I'll be buying the fucking BB figures. I'll be buying... Listen, I'll be buying all the Skyhawk figures. There's a lot I want.
Listen, as a guy who collects cardboard, I understand the collecting urge. I don't have the cash or the space to store any of them. I would definitely invest more. There's a couple of cool Mordred figures they've done. Much like Tamamo, Nier is very popular for Figma. Stuff like that. Like, I could definitely see getting into some things. They've done a Tiamat fig, haven't they?
No, they have. Wait, did they do a Tiamat figure?
I feel like I've seen one at one of those.
It might have been at a Wonderfest, but I don't know if it was released for mass.
That's true. That may have just been a home kit thing. What
was I expecting? What was I expecting me? Sorry, I typed in Tiamat figure and I got D&D. I'm like, God fucking damn it.
Yeah, you do need to specify FGO. D&D is also very large right now. Larger than ever, apparently, making more money than Core Hasbro, supposedly. Shocker, and maybe we should talk about this on What's Up sometime, but this whole quarantine and work from home thing means that a lot of people have rediscovered hobbies. Like, I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but I won't tell you how many people I've seen on Twitter who are like, I got back into, X collectibles. Or this thing, it's really interesting to see people's horizons expand in this trying time. But talking about rando future plans, I would love for us to have a studio workspace and then to, get some fucking underlit glass cabinets, show off some cool figurines and stuff. It would be on brand for us. Just remind everybody of the energy when they walk in every day. When I stumble in at noon, I'd love to be greeted by smiling figurine faces. But I think Lucky and I both said, we're not made of money or space, and unfortunately, figurines take up a decent chunk of both.
Yeah, they do.
All right, let's keep going. We do only. I know I keep muttering this to myself. We do only out of 40 have a few more, like 10 of these left.
Oh.
9, 10. It's not a lot of scrolling, so we can keep going.
So. This next one comes from Wallacoon Training Arc, you're next. This say. Hello, Studio Omega. I sure wish UFO Table would readapt the the Stay Night route and make recommending how to get into Fate a little bit easier. And I don't know if you have addressed this on Let's Talk FGO. I'll just ask, where do you recommend to start for the average person with an interest in Fate? Thank you for your time and have a good week.
I don't know if this has ever been mailbagged before, probably, but we've definitely talked about this discussion before because it's one of those, every fandom has their, core questions that everybody asks all the time. Mm-hmm. One of them for Fate is, where do you start to get another person in Fate? Honestly, it really depends on the character of your friend you're getting. Who, the sucker, the future simp, who you're targeting, right? You gotta plan for the target. If you've got a friend who, doesn't mind some of the, darker and harsher stuff, a lot of people love Fate Zero, and Zero does actually work as a prequel for the Unlimited Blade Works series. Obviously, as per the nature of UBW, it's actually got a very decent balance of the writing and is a good intro to some of the core concepts and characters. That would be high on my list of recommendations. And then have them either go back and watch Zero or have them watch Zero first if they can tolerate it. If your friend's really hardcore, you might be able to start them on Heaven's Feel.
Oh,
but
God,
also,
no, I wouldn't regret. No.
I could see it because again, there are certain there are so many people who are like, oh man, Zero's the best. It's everybody sucks. Oh, there's so much death. I'm like, all right, okay, maybe you could get people, but no, Heaven's Feel's heavy, right?
Well, it's not just that, but you also remember Heaven's Feel starts off by skipping the actual intro and everything, and it starts off with them going to the church. They literally start at the split, so you wouldn't actually get
That's true.
any.
You do actually skip the movie. Skip the prologue.
Yeah.
That is something that the Unlimited Blade Works anime doesn't. That's actually the first episode. Because,
yeah.
Hey guys, if you don't know, in the original Fate Stay Night, there is actually a prologue of the first few days.
Yeah.
Which is actually narrated by Rin. Which is why that's how Unlimited Blade Works starts that way. Now that I think about it, that makes sense why Heaven's Feel would skip it because it's the Sakura route. So it makes sense they would throw Rin to the background a little. But yeah, so. And honestly, I know and obviously if UFO Table did do that next, that would be cool. The Dean edition of Fate Stay Night is not the worst. Obviously, the anime was made a couple years after the original VN came out, so it's not going to be, as crisp and clear as, high-level UFO Table stuff. Again, been watching a lot of VFX artists react. They definitely give me a little bit of a healthier mindset when it comes to, visual design. There's 2 steps. One is how much money you've thrown at something, and like how much time you have to do it. Like, occasionally people are just lazy and they do bad work, but most of the time the problem is that like producers or high level staff hand the actual artists, the project to do, and are like, yeah, you have 5 weeks to do a project that takes 12 months, stuff like that, right? So, but for its time, the Dean anime is not actually that bad, and it's a fairly decent adaptation of most of the beats of the original Fate route. So that's an okay way to get people in, especially if they've somehow missed Fate but have watched a lot of older anime. They probably won't bat an eyelid, right?
Right.
Other than that, I think like probably something self-contained, like APOC might be a good one. That's a modern anime. It's fairly self-contained, right?
I was gonna say that, but Omega doesn't shut up as always.
Sorry, I'm thinking through my thought process because we have had this conversation before.
Yes, but so now I'm gonna take it over. My personal recommendation is APOC, and I know a lot of people will go audible gasp and whatnot, but you have to hear me out on this. One, APOC gives the basics of a Holy Grail War and what it contains. It has enough tragedy and whatnot that you can generally get the darker overtones that is generally involved with Fates. And 3, because it's 2 cores and it's all self-contained, you get a full story without having to actually, start jumping through different series, different routes, and whatnot. And so you can get a full understanding of what a Fate story is supposed to be.
Yes,
now,
this is a... Sorry. Do you have more to say about APOC?
No, I said it. So
okay, because I want to tack on a thought to there. Sorry to jump in, but you mentioned something I think very important. APOC is a singular story, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like it was a light novel, manga, and then anime adaptation, right? Whereas Fate Stay Night is a multi-route VN originally, so there are straight up some subplots that no matter what route of Fate you watch, don't get resolved.
Yeah.
Which can be confusing for normies and first timers.
Extra point. If you want to be a fucking animal and completely destroy someone, recommend today's menu at Emiya Family First.
I actually
tell them to watch earlier. Tell them to watch it and then say, all right, all those people, now imagine them killing each other.
Yeah, that's a cruel way to start, but it would work because Gohan's very, very user friendly. Don't start with Last Encore.
Do not.
This is not CCC, just extra in general is already confusing, and then this is just like Last Encore is just like extra confusing, like it's double confusing.
I'm just here for fucking Shaft and fucking Shaft's interpretation of fucking Wada Arco Nero. It's the best. Yeah,
visually it's stunning, but it's written very weird. That's not even like Shaft's fault. That's like Nasu decided to make it weird. Which he didn't need to do extra was already weird. Whatever. They're remaking the game, it's fine. It's fine. Heck, if your friend likes video games more than anime, when that actually comes out, assuming it's got an English release, which we do, I would say that possibly playing the extra remake may be a good way to get in when it comes out, We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it's handled. But that might hypothetically be a good route.
I'm gonna watch the new Tsukihime opening again, just because I love it that much. It's so good. But yeah, so ultimately, as Omega said, it's up to what kind of person you are, but Lucky, as a general, just, throw and see if it sticks, I recommend APOC. I know a lot of people don't like it, especially people who know the OG content, like to talk about Sieg with the value of a cardboard, but I'm just like, just calm down, guys. Calm down. He's fine.
On its own merits of getting people into the franchise, I think it's perfectly open-ended. Don't start with Babylonia, that's weird also. Same with FGO Carnival Phantasm, that's probably going to be way too self-referential. Grand Order Carnival, like, there's definitely some don'ts, but there's a couple of different do's.
Yeah. So, with that, we shall move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Moon, is considering joining the circus to learn how to juggle shit so she can do that with assignments and midterms. Oof. They say. Question. Good day / evening, Lucky and Omega. As you can tell, I'm in deep shit, so you have any good college / school memories you're willing to share? Do I have any good school memories to share? Lucky's a college dropout, so there's not a lot of good memory there. They're just not. School
I don't really
memories?
know if I got any good stories to share about college either. I went to community college. It was very boring. I did schoolwork. Like, I appreciated my time there, but I don't really have any fun stories to tell about it, I don't think.
If I had more time to think about this question, I'd probably come up with stories, because if you ask for military stories, I got military stories.
Yeah, we're almost... even with, by the way, the compressioning, we're at almost 2 hours of audio recording, even including the fuck up bits. Like, so I'm like, we're running a little low on steam here for like keeping going on thinking up stories. Yeah, nothing really jumps to mind.
Give Lucky a few more thoughts just to see if I can think of anything coolest. No, not specifically in school. There's a lot of things that happened in like my high school years that, you know, changed me. Like discovering Fooly Cooly on Adult Swim. That changed my life. That literally changed my life. But yeah, nothing school related. Sorry. I apologize. I'm boring. I'm boring. I'm fucking boring. When I make my VTuber, that's what I'm gonna put on the description. Very boring. Why are you here? Perfect.
That kind of reverse psychology will probably work.
Yeah. So thank you very much. We're gonna move on. This next one comes from King of Apples, who says, Protea down in only 166 turn. This feels accurate to what I'm gonna have to fucking do, and this is why I kinda don't want to fucking do it.
Oh, talking about reverse psychology and irony.
Question, with all the additionals to big cosmic level stuff, e.g., Ergo, Beast, and the Grand Servants, what do you put the chances of types actually appearing in FGO? What about retcons and changes of stuff established in notes?
So, on that first question, don't touch that dial, is what I'll say. Yeah. I think that's where we'll leave that. As for actually, like, altering, probably? Hold on. Now I gotta go on the Type Moon Wiki. When the fuck was Notes published?
Notes was published early.
Yeah.
It was... I don't want to say it was his first, but it was one of his first short fictions.
Notes. Now, here's the problem with the Type Moon Wiki. I forgot how animals they are, and they don't ever fucking... Like, they don't treat themselves like a real wiki should with, like, outside stuff. There should be a fucking date of Notes, period. It's a short novel written by Kanoku Nasu in the year blah. 1999. Okay, got it. I found it in an image capture. Yeah, so, that's 5 years before Fate's Day Night, so it's fucking old. So, yeah, no, I would not be shocked if Nasu hasn't got some better interpretations or tighter language on some of that stuff in context of his greater universe. Yeah, Notes it would be after Kara no Kyokai, I believe. I think that was first published in 98.
Yeah, no, Kara no Kyokai was because that came out after Boogie Phantom came out because Nasu got heavily inspired by it. Yeah.
Yeah, and, Kara no Kyokai, and arguably even Notes are not even technically Type Moon. That's all just Nasu writing short-form fiction, basically. Notes is a standalone short story. Kara no Kyokai is a light novel series. So those were both very text-light, which is slightly ironic considering that his next big works would be Tsukihime and Fate's Day Night, which are visual novels which are full of giga text.
Giga. But like I said, don't touch that dial. Things are happening. There is speculation. But like I said, it's super far future. Super far future.
Yeah, and if you know enough to ask that question, you'll probably start seeing some of those elements as they crop up in the ongoing story. Like you'll know what to look out for.
Yes.
And heck, we've already technically had a Notes reference in MHX's NP.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, there's not other things that are directly Notes, but are Notes adjacent, I should say.
Honestly, there's one of Notes' big concepts is that, like, the mana left the earth, and now everyone is dead, except they're not. Like, that's just... Nasu's just never let go of that one. What if the earth died? Okay? Like, he keeps telling that story. There's, like, five or six different versions of that.
I mean, it's happened twice just to us in this story.
Yeah. No. At least, technically, neither of those times where probably all the mana got leached out. Though, I would not be shocked if we got to Lost Belt, 7.9, and we turned out that the alien god slurped up our milkshake or something dumb.
Oh, that goes into season 3.
Okay, let's go on.
Region Raptor, I'm gonna tell you like this: if you don't know, just go on the wiki. Like honestly, you're not gonna really be spoiling yourself for Tsukihime, maybe a little bit. I mean, guess.
Possibly if you figure out what types are. Like, here's the thing. I think I've explained this before. The high level of what the fuck an ultimate one, a type is it's just imagine they're just the most powerful thing on that planet. They're the most powerful being of that planet by that planet. So, like, if there's I'm pretty sure there is a type Jupiter. That's just like, what's the most powerful metaphysical Jupiter entity? And you may ask yourself, I don't know, why is there a weird entity on Jupiter? That, I don't actually fucking know. I don't know if Nasu knows. He was just like, types, planets, boom, go.
Nasu has been on some shit.
Yeah. I think I've talked about this before. I'm pretty sure Nasu actually likes sci-fi as much as he likes urban fantasy, if not more, because he keeps trying to make his urban fantasy sci-fi. But anyway, let's not go down that right there.
Actually, went too far.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, I think you did go too far. You wrapped that around too much. I don't think that makes any fucking sense.
But
Next.
where are we? Here we are. So we move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Sleep is Wanted, Sleep is Required, Sleep is Needed.
Sleep is for the weak.
Ugh. Excuse me. They're looking to make a Chishi Wong NP. Does the star weight effect of that NP affect star weight during a chain? For example, Buster card with 50% crit after the NP in a chain. Does the NP go off with that number on the Buster card? Increase, decrease. Pretty sure that the NP is the only one in FGO that has a star weight effect.
That is definitely not true, I'm pretty sure. Especially now. That said, also, so I'm not 100% sure because I'm not some kind of Matrix man. I can't actually see the code of FGO with my eyes, and unless you can do that, there's no fucking way to check your hypothesis. Because, I mean, the thing is still chance-based. Like, there's no way to know that, like, it was 50%. Well, it could have been a 50% roll anyway. But I'm reasonably sure no. Because stars and chances are distributed when you lock in command cards. Once you've locked in the command cards, they stay the same. You can tell this by doing the back button. Now, technically, yes, your star weights do get recalculated when you do a skill, but that's before you lock in the command cards. And you can't go back and do a skill if you have command cards locked in. So I'm pretty sure once you lock in the NP card and you lock in your command hand and you go to use them, the star values don't change.
No.
That is just based on my understanding, because even if there's not another NP, I'm reasonably certain there's got to be a command card that does that, right? Like, I feel like that's a command card thing. But like I said, and without the ability to actually, like, see the code in progress, I don't see how there's any way to prove the theory one way or the other, because, like, unless you somehow had, like, no crit chance and got a crit, you'd have to set that up very carefully, by the way. That's the only way you'd be able to prove, I had no crit chance on this card, I got a crit, therefore, I changed it. That's it. Okay.
That's it. All right, but thank you very much. We're going to move on. This next one comes from Mischievous Master, menacing minces moldy mozzarella, meanwhile Meb moles morosely. Powerful alliteration. I love it.
I feel like this is a response to how down on their alliteration you were last week.
I am down on alliteration. I love alliteration. I was about to do some alliteration with L, but I'm like, nah, I'll save it. But they say, hey, insert Pokemon name starting with L, Lucky, and insert Pokemon name starting with O, Omega. I guess they just ran out.
Oops. Out of Pokemon.
Oops, out of Pokemon. But they say, hope CCC Re1 was just as awesome for you two as it was for me. This is my first time playing the event since I was but a wee new player, still brave in the London Singularity when this came out 2 years ago. I finished farming all the mats and such for Kama, so I can 10 level 100 as soon as she comes out. Jesus. Assuming I managed to roll her, all the while contemplating whether or not I should temp whaling for her should the need arise. I can't handle people who are just like, oh yeah, level 100, 10, day one. I'm just like,
that
ow.
It requires a lot of pre-work. And I expect that, again, to talk about, our own personal quirks, Lucky, the people who are prepping that way either don't have, like, 50 servants at level 1, or they do because they're deliberately hoarding all their materials for that one servant they're planning on rolling this year.
How do you farm that much? I got shit to do. I got so much shit to do.
Pre-planning. I don't actually... Hey, I haven't shot the wanted yet, so I haven't double-checked what Kama's various mats requirements are, but depending on how apeshit they are, they might actually, not be that hard or not. I know a lot of people who tried to do that with a Resh were, like, in the fucking ghoul mines forever, sucking their souls away. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty
to answer your question, your first question before we get to your real question, where you're like, hope your CCC rerun. It was not.
Yeah, no. Well, I said, fortunately, we did this 2 years ago, so...
We busted our asses 2 years ago, and I'm sure we were not having a... Well, okay, we were reading the story for the first time, so we were probably having some level of fun. About the gameplay, I bet we were not having super fun if you go back and listen to us from 2 years ago. Anyway, I have an extra question.
Anyway, next part. My question is to you, what are your Grail targets, and furthermore, how do you decide them? I believe Lucky did mention his intent to Grail every Tamamo Sakura face eventually, while Mega, being a man of culture, is a Ren face aficionado. Hold on. Is this person implying that Lucky is not a man of culture?
I don't know, is he?
I don't know. I think they are. Oh, Axe saved it. I love our chat. They're like, Axe is like, nah, you're a lord of culture. And Loft is like, Lucky is a man of tyranny. And I'm like, nope, they saved it. I'm good. All right. I am appeased.
All right.
So I will continue and not just yeet this to the void. Are your targets set in stone, or will you add more characters to the list if the servants have good event/backstory stories and you really develop a liking to them? I ask this because I'm seriously considering grailing Melt should I ever get her, because her CCC story is just so beautiful. Like, she literally went all the way through hell for you while slowly succumbing to her energies. Best of luck for your martyr riding comma rolls, excuse me. Well, like I said, fun fact, CCC is one of the events that got me super on my path of Sakura Face of Love. I should say, seeing Lip and Melt. I was like, because before that, I almost had zero characterization of them. Because, like I said, I knew of the Sakura 5, and I knew of their designs, but I didn't actually know of them. Especially since them and FGO is post CCC character development, means they're even sweeter. It's like, oh no, I love them. But unfortunately, Lucky does have to consider the fact that Grails are a finite resource, and already, just as I am, because I have enough, like I said, I have 3 level 100 Tamamos right now. I'm saving 7, just in case Tamamovich, is only an SR. She is technically she's one of the Tamamo 9, so while she has significant story...
Yeah, I could see them pulling a cat on her.
Yeah, she has significant story implication, but technically she's on the same level as Cat. So they might make her SR. So that's 7 Grails right there. Then, just talking about the Sakura 5 I have now, 3 of them, plus Kama and Parvati, like, I have Grails earmarked for quite a while.
Plus, you never know when they're gonna do,
Violet and Kazura drop.
Yeah. Nor what rarity they will be.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people wondering if because, for instance, Kazura drop is kind of initially weaker, if she might be like a 3-star.
That'd be interesting.
Violet's character design is heavily influenced by Medusa, so also they could do a lower rarity on her as well. Or Violet is also canonically the oldest alter ego, so they could put her on the super high tier, you know? They could make sure she's up there with, say, Melt, as opposed to Lip. I do actually believe that Lip is younger than Melt. Though, again, KP is actually, I think Kazura drop might be the youngest. But, hey, they threw in KP and she's a 5-star, so, like, this is stuff. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, we don't know. So, like I said, all my Grails are earmarked for the foreseeable future. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't, try and invest love into other servants. Like I said, I plan on getting all my Skahawks, to 10-10-10, getting, Murasaki, 10-10-10, Ereshkigal and Ishtar. Space Ishtar if I can get her. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna put in the honest try. Just because, like I said, I think that's the best way to put it. Lucky usually ranks his servants on various ways. Either 1, they're stuck at level 1 because I don't have the fucking time. 2, they're fully leveled, but their skills kind of suck. It usually means I like them and I don't mind using them, but there's other things on my fucking mind. Above that is where I keep the skills about 4 and 6, and I'm just like, alright, these are ones that I either use or like a fair amount. I try to give them love as needed. Then there's the ones I have at 10-10-10. Believe it or not, despite me not using her all that much besides farming, my Bunyan's at fucking 10-10-10. Along with Asterios. I never use Asterios. But I'm like, no, he's 10-10-10 because he's a good boy. I love him. He's fluffy. Mm-hmm. And then above that is the targets that I use for Grails.
Which is very specific.
Yes.
So, from my end, so my Grails right now is, Mordred is 100, 10-10-10. And so is Ishtar and Aresh. And then Medusa is not level 100, but I gave her 2 Grails to make her gold because I needed a good AoE rider, and I like Medusa, and if you don't, I will literally fight you. Like, when I do that dumb sort all servant, you know who is always in my top 3? It's always Medusa, and usually Ishtar or Resh are tied, and then Mordred. Like, it's those 3. So, I'm locked in there. I've always said this, and I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I probably should. I do want to eventually make Urale gold as well. Like, probably not take her all the way to 100, but definitely give her a couple Grails to make her 80 as well. Because it's not fair that she's below Stheno. It's just not right. So I think that might be my cutoff for all Snecks, is to make sure they at least get to go gold. But you know, the contract is sealed. You know, the pact is set. If Space Ishtar comes, she gets 5 Grails. That's just straight up how it is. That's how it be, guys. I said this before. Ishtar came out and I got her. I said this before. Aresh came out and I got her. This is where I'm at. I've talked with people about the numbering. I wouldn't mind going for, like, Summer Mordred and Summer Ishtar to, like, 90. Maybe even all the way to 100, but that's a lot of grails. 100 is a lot of grails, okay? So, like, that's hypothetically, if I have a lot of grails and don't know what to do with them, I could see that. And I could certainly see other future characters getting them, but, like, my big sworn on my grails are core Rin faces and Mordred. They come out with another Mordred, you know. She can go up there. It's great. Also, I genuinely like to use vanilla Mordred. She's a great saber. Can't wait for that buff. Heck, that's, I forgot. Time deleted by. That's, this year, isn't it? They're gonna rerun, later this year, APOC?
Is it this year? I'm not sure.
Is it this year or is it early next year? I really... The 2020 times are just a vague squish space.
Squish.
Early next year.
Okay.
Okay. That's still closer than I thought, but yeah, okay. I was like, wait, when does that happen? Shit, dude. Okay, anyway. That's my Grail news.
That's your Grail.
Alright, I'm gonna take a quick pause here. Okay, we're gonna pause. We're going.
Yay!
It was a brief intermission. Alright. Let's, okay, yeah, I think we wrapped up our Grail stuff. Let's move on to our next one.
Where are we? Here we are. So, thank you very much for that. This next one comes from No Gal, Only Despacho. I strummed this harp sadly for you. I don't have a harp, though, unfortunately.
Play the world's tiniest violin.
Anyway, question from last week's topic. If Shinji doesn't have magic circuits anymore, how is he able to cast shadows in the V and Fate route when Shiro confronted him in school? I bet Shiro easily bum rushed through them. And, or, what was the reason again why Gilgamesh stuck the heart into Shinji and UBW? So, the first one to answer that is, despite having no magic circuits, what they basically have to do is give Shinji a tool? I guess a mystic code, I guess? It's a fucking book you see him carrying with. What do they call it? The fucking book of...
Yeah, it's actually one of the early game's CEs, the Book of False Attendant.
Yeah.
It's a mystic code that was created so that he could take Sakura's command seals. And I would assume that if it's good enough for him to use the command seals and, you know, be linked to Rider, it probably lets him do rudimentary magecraft. Remember, we talked about this. The Matos have a shitload of magic knowledge in books and stuff. Shinji just doesn't have the natural talent to do it. Hypothetically, maybe he could even do some minor magic without circuits, but just, like, using his life force and stuff. That would
if you can see, Shinji's constantly studying magic at one, not even he can't use it, so he probably knows some rudimentary stuff, like, regardless.
For the question about Gil, I don't remember if that was ever fully elaborated in the anime.
I think it was because, like, wasn't he because Gil wanted a vessel, but whatever vessel got fucked up, so he was like, whatever, Shinji, you'll do. Blah. Wasn't it that? That's what I thought.
No, because he deliberately destroyed the vessel, which was, Ilya. So, I don't remember if he, like, needed a specific person secondary. I think the long and short of it is he needed a human host for the Lesser Grail now to have it do the thing. But for some reason, he decided to stab Ilya.
Yeah, I think Architect was right. Wasn't Gil originally planning on using Ren, but then Ren got away?
Probably. I still don't... Here's the thing. I don't know why they... If Shinji was good enough, I don't know why they needed to do anything. I've watched Unlimited Blade Works a lot. I legitimately don't remember their reasoning for any of this, other than just Kiri and Gilgamesh are fucking assholes. So like I said, this may be something you need to go back for the original VN for, but Lucky, I believe, is correct. They did not need Shinji specifically, but any human would have done. They just needed a human person to be the vessel of the Lesser Grail bit.
Maybe because they didn't have the magic circuits to control it, and it goes out of Corral and does weird shit.
I am assuming they removed Ilya because A, she was strong and had to go anyway as an enemy master, but also B, because they were deliberately fucking with the Grail, so they did not want they didn't want the Einsburns to, like, do any shenaniganery.
Anyway,
especially because Kyrie would have... Kyrie went out... Well, he didn't go out of his way. I think it was maybe an accident, but he did kill Iris Veal before the whole Grail thing was finished anyway, so... That's the only version of the Grail he's known, and part of their plot is to recreate the Fuyuki Fire, basically, so...
Anyway, the second part of the question is, what CBC CEs are you thinking of getting for free, using a ticket for effect or artwork? Lucky's totally going for artwork, but he doesn't know yet.
Yeah, I'm not excited. We talked about this earlier. I don't think you even had much of a comment when we had that. That was in the before zone, but I don't remember if you said anything about which CE you thought was cool.
I said I have to. I'm pretty sure all I said is I'll have to take a look and I'll pick on the moment. You were talking about how you have to look at mechanics. I was like, nah.
Well, yeah, I want to double check what they do mechanically, like, or if any of them are like super good, because sometimes some of the CEs are like, oh, this looks nice and has a really cool effect, which can help shape, like, you know, if you have two equally good artworks, which to be fair, all this art is good. I scrolled up a little, but I don't know if none of them do anything interesting at all, like, then it will definitely be like, okay, this is literally just a pretty picture I'm collecting.
Man, Uma Musume is really blowing up, and this makes me sad that it's not in English.
Not yet, anyway. Aren't they planning on that yet?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
Sorry, yeah, I'm definitely. So, yeah, you're looking at Twitter, right?
Yep.
Yes, it is. I've noticed that over the past couple of days. The actual game came out, I guess. A lot of people are getting into it in the fan art and stuff. But all right. Yeah, that was the CBC question, I think.
That was the CBC question. And they finished off with, there was another question, but I forgot it. Anyway, stays dapper and dandy. Mood. So, this next one comes from a guy who's got your demon surge in the role, but has to stay strong for more sync chords for MP2. Powerful mood. But they say, question, hi, Lucky Omega, with CBC as good as here, my simple question is, who is the best of the Chaldean boys? For you, aka, who is your favorite male servant and why? For me, it's Ozzy because I got him way back on his first banner when I was still free to play with one multi on 30 courts I had back then. I like my waifu as much as anyone else, but wifey Ozzy has a special place in my heart because of this story. Wish you both a nice day and successful roles in the coming banner. I mentioned him earlier, my boy Asterios. He's big, fluffy, kind, even though he's a monster. I love him. He's a good boy. Must protect. Yeah, no, I'm not going to go with the answer. I'm just thinking about Asterios.
Solid answer. Sorry, I yawned really hard, and I tensed up my jaw a little bit there. Yeah, I don't know, I'm bad at favorites. I don't know, like, Sigurd, I guess? He's cool. He slays dragons. He's voiced by Kaiba. It's great.
You say voiced by Kaiba, and I just looked at my fucking PS5.
Yeah. That was a great one. That said, I also definitely mentioned this before. Karna's doing a lot of work, and I do also like Karna. He's cool. Secret handshake. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Well, we won't dwell on this, so we'll move on. Thank you very much for that. And we move on. This one comes from, imagine you've had one wish, but your luck was garbage. They say, hello, for this week I want to ask, what's the extent of your immersion into the Extraverse? Played the games, watched the anime, went to the dangerous rabbit hole that is the wiki. Also wanted to submit a Teach Me topic. What are gadgets/creations? I like a better term. Ergo, parallel thought acceleration, trimescus, trihermes. P.S. $400, no KP.
That's rough, buddy.
Yeah, that does suck. Lucky's still recovering from his 700 spent. But let's see here. Extraverse, wiki, I guess? Like, I watched Lost Encore, and because of Lost Encore, I'm just like, what the fuck just happened here?
Yeah. Nope, Lost Encore is not really helpful.
Nope.
We've both played Extella and Extella Link.
Yep.
I have definitely also done the wiki deep dive because that was a Teach Me topic one week, which was, hey, Omega, what the fuck was CCC even? Because people were like, how did that work? So yeah, I did my best to explain that one.
Again, this is why I'm super excited for the X-Ray remake, because it will be a modern recontextualization of it, and I'm just like, yes, give it.
Yep. As for the Teach Me question, how not to, like, I don't want to, so I don't mean this in a rude way, but nah. Because honestly, I've answered what all of those are, in separate ones, though most of those were in talking about Atlas and Alchemy and stuff. So yeah, no, like, all those things you've mentioned, that's either extensions of Magecraft that we've already discussed, or those are Mystic Codes, which we've definitely already done one on. And unfortunately, the Mystic Code topic probably wasn't super helpful, but that's because a Mystic Code is whatever. And if you're like, wait, are Mystic Codes magic computers? Yes. Mystic Codes are magic computers. It's a little dumb, but yes, Mystic Codes can be anything. Actually, isn't Trimegistus? I think that's the original, or is ours Trimegistus and the original is Trihermes? I don't know. Whatever the actual Atlas one is, isn't that I'm pretty sure that's a craft essence.
Wait, no, I don't know.
Is it just Atlas? There's one with the 3 pillars. It's a 3-star.
No, that's Atlas. That's Atlas.
Okay, that's just Atlas.
That's just Atlas.
Moon Cell. Now that's also a CE. That's also a 3-star, which is very funny. Also, we've done a What is Moon Cell? So yeah, no, like we'll talk about this after mailbag briefly. Sorry, I had to think of the words. The segment we've been doing for 2 hours. An hour and a half anyway, or 2. Actually, no, it is more like 2 hours because I shaved down the time for that first bit because that was Oops All Omega. So we're going on like 2 hours now. Anyway, that's not relevant. after that, we'll talk about Teach Me and stuff, because it's a new month, new polls. I'll mention that to the people at home if they haven't seen it on Patreon already. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure we've covered all of this, and there's no... so this is a general Teach Me thought, and this may come back to some other commentary later. When, for instance, in your example, you're like, oh, I don't have a better term for this. It's like, yeah, that means it's probably not a great Teach Me topic, because Teach Me really needs to be centered around, like, a Nasuverse concept that I can work off of. Like, whether it's a specific recurring bit of language, or if it's a literal, like, actual, like, high concept, or if it's, like, a species, whatever. Like, it works best off proper nouns. If there's no standalone proper noun for these things you mean, then other than, am I going to do a whole episode on what the fuck Trismegistus is? Probably not, by the way. Again, because we already talked about how the computational shit works with Atlas. That makes it harder to do a focused topic on just, like, yes, I did do a whole topic of, like, hey, what's the difference between a holy sword and a demonic sword, which did involve a decent amount of theory crafting. That said, the phrase holy sword or demonic sword has been in Nasuverse since Fate Stay Night, right? Like, those were ideas that Nasu threw out there and never really super extrapolated on, but definitely made it, something we could comment on. Also, yeah, somebody in the chat just said, if there's not a specific proper noun for it, it's probably a mystic code. Yeah, because mystic codes are horseshit. Is it a magic thing that's not a person? Mystic code. Also, sometimes if it is a person, what if they're a goo person? Perhaps they're a metal goo maid. That's a mystic code. Okay. Oh, holy shit, there's like 2 left.
Alrighty. So we got 2 left. And what? Okay, there we go. So, thank you very much for that. And we move on. This one comes from Guy putting This next one comes from Guy putting BB in timeout for a very good reason. Cyrus21. They say, question, hey guys, been falling a bit behind and actually watching the shows, but I do enjoy listening when I can. Managed to bring Meld home, but Passionate and King Prodia will have to wait for a few years from now, sadly. Also considering BB's attitude and the fact she has a skill referencing the Beast of Revelation along with her twisted love for humanity, do you think that BB could qualify as a beast? I think that she used her ability to stay as a moon cancer like she does during Summer 3 to hide that she's to hide being that event's foreigner. Anyways, I wish you good luck and great rolls. Now, on the subject of beasts, no. BB is very BB. I think it's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I'm double checking some BB stuff. So you got to remember, what is BB? BB is an AI fundamentally. That is her spirit origin. Basically, she's a computer lady. She is basically a bugged AI built out of the Sakura AI from Extra. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to like double check, do they throw out the, is BB, a calamity, an evil of humanity? I wanted to double check her profile. I'm actually like scrolling through her wiki notes. You may have heard my computer make some bleep noises as certain words were not found. Calamity doesn't appear on her wiki anywhere. There are some interesting references, and her staff of rulership has, the beast, but also we've seen that a lot with, Nero. Like, could they do something? Maybe, but no, like you said, she's not really. She's an AI first and foremost. I think a good phrase that is in her actual profile.
I see what it is. It's 10 crowns. Duh, that's the skill.
Yeah, her 10 crowns skill. Somebody asked, "Is BB a mystic code?" Actually, I mean, she's a sentient computer program hosted inside a reality marble, the serial phantasm. So I don't fucking. Again, this is what I said. Nasu really likes sci-fi stuff, and sometimes he just throws it in there without actually bothering to explain how the fuck that works. I guess you just use the moon cell to do magic stuff. But no, I was gonna bring this up. There's a line in her actual FGO profile, which says BB sees herself not as a tool to save humanity, but as a devil that at times misleads, at times helps humanity. Which I think basically captures enough of BB's personality. You ask yourself, oh, would BB be a beast and she would definitely like love humanity so much it hurts them? No, she'd fuck with humans. That's the problem. Like BB's.
I think there's a line that I think sums it up. BB's a fucking It's like BB never does anything to make someone actually hate her. Like, and I think that's fair enough. She's a trickster and a troublemaker, but she's not an evil, a capital E evil.
Yes, she is not an evil of mankind. Like BB's. We've talked about this before, right? Like, certain characters have certain kind of like metatextual archetypes. Kiara is written as the character of she could be the Bodhisattva, but she will always Charlie Brown the football at the last minute, right? Like, that's how she's written. She is the actual evil. Like, she's referred that way in CCC back before we understood what the fuck that meant, right?
Right.
And she's the true final boss. BB is that character who acts like your final boss, Kohai, but in her own final boss story, in the true ending, she gets hijacked by Kiara at the last minute and fucks it up. Like, she is that person who you think is the final boss, but at the last minute, Charlie Brown's the football. Like, even in Summer, when she's BB Pele, aka BB Hotep, that's still not quite the same, right? Like, she's using her eldritch powers to become the final boss. Doesn't she actually phrase it as she puts all her points in her final boss skill tree?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But no, I think the thing here though is to remember, BB doesn't actually love humanity. BB likes individual humans. She definitely has a big old crush on Hakuno, because that's how being an extra in CCC works. Is this Hakuno? I love them. So, like, I actually don't think that BB loves humanity. Even when she's being super evil BB Hotep, she's doing it to fuck with you. You specifically. She's your Kohai. She's latched onto you. She's fucking with you.
She likes you, so therefore you're our object for torment.
Yeah. She, as an AI, admires humanity and wants to help them because, she learned that humans are not all bad. But she's not really... Core BB is not really a character who loves humanity in the way that we ascribe to with the beasts.
Yeah.
There's an interesting note here that I'm assuming is quote. It's not cited, of course it's not. But there's a note here that I assume is from her FGO profile because it's talking about her allies at Chaldea, where it says that her growing closeness to humanity might cause her to change into something new, which is also very BB. Self-Modiac. She's like constantly trying to evolve. But she's sure that her new allies at Chaldea will keep her on the right path. So, like, yes, hypothetically, FGO BB working with us could maybe come to be somebody who loves humans, but the fact that she's in Chaldea probably means that she will never get quite so fucked up as to beastify, right?
Yeah.
Like, and again, fundamentally, BB's character is still, I don't think, quite enough to, like, actually be an evil of man. Can she be a final boss if she wants? Sure, but not quite like the beasts. The foreigner influence, I think, is much more and makes much more sense, honestly. Like, Nyarlathotep has always been portrayed as the outer, the elder god, the eldritch being that loves fucking with humans the most. That's his shtick.
Trickster, yeah.
Like, all other cosmic horrors are just like rolling over in their sleep and accidentally the apocalypse. Nyarlathotep is like, yo, these guys are fucking rad. Let me fuck them up. Have a trumpet that revives the dead.
Gnarl actually, like, if I remember some of the stories, actually does wander around in human lands doing weird shit.
Yeah, Nyarlathotep has, like, 1,000 masks or whatever, so he just looks like different dudes. Like, he is actually a character in the Egyptian prehistory called the Black Pharaoh at one point, and he makes evil pyramids and stuff like that, and he built a Gigasphinx that actually is, like, under the actual Sphinx and makes animal-headed people. It's weird. That's also where the HPL version of Nitocris comes from. She's a Nyarlathotep cultist. It's weird. That's why she has the evil mirror. It's an evil in Cthulhu mythos. It's an evil Nyarlathotep mirror. Funny how they never did that. I guess it's because they missed their shot and already did Summer Nito the year before. But there could have been something funny there.
Right.
But yeah, like Nyarlathotep is an outer god who loves to fuck with us, an eldritch deity. But it's still, at no point do I think that Nyarlathotep loves humans, quote unquote. No. He is just easily amused. Yeah. And I think it's the same for BB. So.
Yeah, like, why do you think BB always gives you a way to get out of the problem, even if it's rigged against you? Mm-hmm. It's no fun if the game is 100% either way. Yeah, BB is playing games with you. And, like, that's the thing. BB will never just, it's like, think of it this way. BB can't just give you chocolate, right? No. That's too easy. But
Also, she's not necessarily going to just straight up make, the chocolate's actually poison, you're going to die. Like, she's not also just trying to kill you. Not that Summer BBs isn't existentially terrifying, but again,
Jesus.
Nyarlathotep stuff. That, and I think, I'm going to assume Nasu wrote it because he's the primary writers between all the extra ladies, so he probably watched too much J-horror that night. Even though it's fucking Valentine's Day, Nasu. It when you have the fucking fade to TV static, I'm like, that's just old horror movie vibes. That's a thing that literally doesn't exist anymore. That's only for aesthetics. But yeah, so like we said, I don't think BB cannot truly be a beast in the way that we know them. She can still be a final boss who's a pain in the dick, but it's not quite the same, you know?
Well, you also got to remember, and also on the final point, not necessarily on BB's personality, but also on the B side, all beasts are basically exemplify a evil of humanity.
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily explained, especially with other ones, but every beast has basically something, basically represents a flaw that humans have, especially in relation to each other. You know, regression, comparison, pity, all those things.
God,
I said what?
Fandom wiki code. Sorry, I'm like, oh, here's an interesting group of images of like some BB concept art I'd love to pull up. It's in one of those weird scrolly boxes, even though it's image 1 of 1. There's no way. There's nothing. You can't right-click it. You can't click it. It's just, there's a tiny image here. I'm like, all right, well, okay, I guess nobody else gets to see this. Go look at BB's wiki article. There's like some interesting different drawing of her that they reused for like later stuff. Like one of her concept arts has the devil wings that show up later in Summer BB, for instance. And in some versions, she has a hat. But I'm just like, I can do nothing with this. Thanks, horrible, shitty coding for fandom wikis. Sorry to interrupt your energy there, Lucky.
Sounds good. But, like as I said, BB, while she is powerful and scary and she doesn't necessarily have the right qualifications to be called a beast.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because, to be a beast, you don't have to necessarily be human, obviously. We've talked about this, but you have to love humans in some way.
Yes.
And, like I said, I don't think BB actually loves humanity, but also B. I went the extra mile. She is a computer program. Like, she is a AI simulation of something. Like, she may be too alien to really count, because she does not actually represent, like, most proper human follies and stuff.
Yeah.
And honestly, BB has also cast off a lot of her weirdness, because that's where the Sakura 5 came from. That's like, BB's attempts to make herself better did all that stuff, and that's why the Sakura 5 are so trippy, because it's like, on the one hand, BB is trying to she's trying to figure out how she can make herself stronger, but on the other hand, she's also trying to figure out how to remove her weaknesses. Which, funnily enough, Core BB herself actually claims anyway that she has no weakness. So she's not vulnerable to tickling. She doesn't have a weakness for, coffee. She's got none. All right. Last question.
Sorry. Interesting point. Like, you talk about like how actually no, that's not that relevant. I guess Lucky just wants to talk more about Tomomo, because that's what I do. Anyway, but let's finish this up. So thank you very much for that. We move on to the last one. This last one comes.
I forgot this was one. Commenter, I'm going to tell you up front before Lucky reads it. I don't like your comment because you feel the need to yell in my FGO mailbag about Arknights for like 5 lines, and then you end with an actual question that's thrown at the end, and I feel like you could have just skipped the middle bits. Also, I like how they're talking to us like we don't know about the Arknights event. Do you watch What's Up? Come on, guys. Be cool.
You can't hear it, but Lucky is just slowly narrowing his... You wouldn't be able to hear it anyway. You have to see it. You can't see it, but Lucky's just slowly narrowing eyes as he speeds reads this question, and I feel like I'm just going to eat it.
Yeah, I'm about to say, that pause there is Lucky is quickly pre-reading this question.
Listen, I know I said we don't have... as long as you keep it tangentially FGO, but this is obviously you just wanted to talk about Arknights, and then you added FGO at the end to try and keep it looping all in.
We've talked about this with several people in the mailbag questions. Guys, we're reasonably intelligent. You don't have to include your long-ass hypothetical story or your example explanations. We can probably figure out what the fuck you're asking anyway. And if we can't, we'll ask you to clarify. Like, you do not need to, and if you're asking a question to actually ask a question, you should not preface it with a big block of text. We get it. And I know, obviously, yes, some people are in fact prefacing with a big block of text because they just think their ideas are cool and they either want to write them down or they want Lucky to read them. But then you're not asking a question, which we've talked about before. Like, you don't have to ask a question, right?
No.
You can just give us well wishes. But if you're going to ask a question, actually just ask your fucking question. Don't, like, trick me into answering your question or try to melt my brain with a 5-part essay about why Arknights is cool.
This particularly hurts me, as I think I literally said I had to give up Arknights just so I could have time to actually do other things.
Yes.
It hurts my soul a little bit.
But also, last week on WhatsApp, you did say that you did actually... Did you actually reinstall Arknights? I know you went back to, like, you got your, like, the first copy of the Welfare.
Yeah, no, I went and got the first copy of Welfare, and then I uninstalled it again.
Okay. But still, again...
Well, I take that back. I did it, then I spent all my resources to see if I can get the 6-star, didn't, and then I uninstalled it. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
But even so, you definitely know that Arknights is doing those 2 events, because you literally told that story last week on WhatsApp.
Listen, I like thick tales, okay?
He cannot lie.
Like, listen, if it had literally had it been for me seeing the Tomimi art going everywhere, I'd been like, wait a minute.
So much fucking art. So yes, to answer your actual question, we are in fact aware about Arknights. It's cool. It's not quite Code of Brawl level irreverent, but the writing is pretty irreverent. I at this point, the story is just you do in fact just wander through the jungle and Gavial punches things. She punches things while yelling, I'm a healer. I'm a healer, but punch. Does she use anything but punching? I don't actually know. Okay, but that was mailbag.
I was like,
I readjust my headphones because we've been doing this for a little bit. So there's no back half of the show. I'm pretty sure we mentioned that earlier. Because there's like no pregame. The upcoming event's very simple. It's not yet time for OQ pregame. Don't you worry, we'll get there eventually. Probably sooner rather than later. Thanks, FGO. We've already hypothesized about what's coming out. That we can recap, because some of that might have been in the before time with the Phantom Lucky. I think it was just... You can hear me reacting to Lucky anyway in the audio. I'm pretty sure it was just we looked ahead and it was like, there's an interlude campaign, and then OQ does in fact start this month.
yes. Yes, Lucky was the Phantom Thief all along.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now. I think probably the only bit of big back and forth we had in that front half was the talking about the half AP and like trying to figure out what the fuck that meant.
Yeah. Shame, Loth. Shame. It was Omega's fault. Actually, Loth, you weren't here, were you?
No, Loth was not, like, he didn't get here until after the hour.
Yeah.
No. He's just posting the meme because we said Phantom Lucky. It's a joke. It was the actual context of was Oops All Omega. Excuse me. An image lovingly provided to me by somebody in the live chat, which I will probably use in the video version of this. But, hey, at least we got the thumbnail done early.
Yeah.
But okay, the only other last bit of things is it's a new month. That means new patron polls. So I think technically, yeah. So first up in my list of things I posted was Fanservant Friday. I put another 4 on here. I threw in some olds in here that were relevant again, but I also put some new stuff in here. Trying to think of just themes that were relevant, so I was like, let's go for a little bit of a spring, maybe a floral or outdoorsy theme, outside. It's fun. So my 4 options I put up were Callisto, Archer.
Hey.
I brought back Linan Shi, Caster.
Nice. Yes.
Locusta of Gaul, a.k.a. Nero's Goth BFF, Assassin.
Oh, wow.
And even though he was just in the last poll, he didn't honestly stand a fucking chance. So I put Tamlin back as a Lancer. He's still probably not going to win. Callisto's actually doing the best. She's got just under 50% of the vote, though we've only got like 15 votes out of, I think, like 30-ish patrons who can vote, 20-something, I think, at all the levels. So, hey, if you haven't voted, consider it. Callisto is definitely in the lead. That's okay. Tamlin can go in a pocket until Halloween, because that's actually a Halloween story, but it involves a forest and fairies and stuff. So I figured it was legit for March. So yeah, that's what we pulled together for that. And then Teach Me Omega Sensei is up. It has 1 less vote for some reason. But shocking nobody between our 2 choices of what are the true magics and then what is at least in the poll listed as just fate cancel routes, which we talked about last week, right? Where there are a couple of full-blown, these routes were planned and then were canned. Wow, I didn't mean to make that rhyme. But we've talked about, like, hypothetically, at some point in the writing, there was an Ilia route, a Taiga route, etc. There was a lot of cut material from CCC that got turned into Foxtail, and then the CCC event in FGO, right? And Lucky also threw this in there. Apocrypha was a completely different concept originally.
Oh, yeah.
Which arguably became FGO, but even then, it's still quite different. Spoilers, APOC was originally going to be an MMO, and it was going to have PvP. So, that's a fair discussion of, like, the original APOC concept and, like, how that became a different story and what was cut from there forever. So, yeah, shocking nobody, that's winning. So, that'll be an interesting one to stitch together. The only other thing I want to throw out here is somebody posted this sometime last week, in general, mind you. Don't know why you did that in our general chat. That was definitely a Let's Talk FGO topic. But somebody asked a question about, like, hey, if you're gonna, pause Teach Omega Sensei, why don't you do, your what-if theory crafting as a segment? The answer to that is no. One, we've talked about this before. Neither of us gets a super lot of enjoyment from, like, overly specific what-if discussions. I think a better way to describe it, Lucky, is occasionally we will get struck by a sudden bolt of inspiration for something.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the way our minds work, and a lot of people's creatives' minds work, is we'll turn that idea over and over again until we, get some interesting shapes out of it, maybe do some extra research. But that's very flash in the panty, right?
Yeah. To take us over, I actually had that moment yesterday when I was schooling, I will say, someone on the Legend of Lilith, and I went on an absolute Madland deep hole through syncretism. You can actually link a bunch of old, quote unquote, evil fertility gods together. It's like evil fertility gods. It's like, oh shit, I can link this to Shib Dagurath, and I just went ape for like a half hour in the chat with it, and I'm like, okay, it's done. I go now.
The mythography is really interesting, guys, and if you take the premise that there was a Proto-Indo-European culture, which there was, that's why we have a language family called Proto-Indo-European. There's a lot of universal myth similarities which get out there and do some fun stuff.
Yeah,
like hell. I think you talk about this with something, but something that you didn't bring up directly was you talk about like evil fertility goddesses. Technically, you could even do that with Gaia because she did have an evil phase.
Yeah,
we think of Gaia as nice and stuff, but Mother Earth is angry sometimes.
Yeah, but I literally went on this big theory crafting on about how you can actually connect beings like Tiamat with like Shib Nagurath and whatnot.
And obviously with this stuff, it's not a 1-to-1 connection. Like
no, it's
Shib
not.
Nagurath
Like I
is
said,
associated with forests,
you have
whereas
to take a
Tiamat
couple
is
leaps
like
to get there, but it's there.
Yeah, but for fate to your purposes, it's workable. Is the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like we have ideas. I want to say this: I'm not anti fan fiction, as Axe threw out in chat. I don't know if you feel offended by my lack of care about fan fiction. Look at your own life and think about how you may have invested too much in writing your fan fiction. I know exactly who's feeling like they need to feel defensive about that. But no, like that's fan works are a very specific thing for me that I only enjoy in certain contexts and only very narrowly, and often don't enjoy at all. So it's like, it's an interesting concept, but there's a lot of loosey-goosiness with that, and also, because they talked about this, yes, occasionally when I do teach Omega Sensei, I do what I call theory crafting. I do that, however, in the context of I'm trying to solve a fucking problem, right?
Yes.
Where it's like, hey, it's literally, if I look at the wiki and I do my research, it says the line, at least in the wiki specifically, the line says, it's never actually explained why the Matos don't have any magic anymore. And I'm like, interesting. So we have an open-ended question. This is a plot point that is not answered, is not solved. So I'm like, okay, well, in that case, I should at least, as the person collecting all this data, I should at least offer my input and my theory on that, right?
Right.
Hypothetically, I can take things that are not like, solved, is the word I used before, and be like, well, since this is open-ended, here's my thoughts on that. And it's funny, Axe is actually saying in comment that the way I explained it, he kind of thought that's what happened anyway, and I'm like, yeah, no, I think I just followed logical concepts based on what I had already researched about the narrative and what I know about in general. Like, I think it makes perfect sense that the reason why the Matos don't have magic circuits anymore is that Zokin's been alive 500 years and he probably still has their fucking magic crest. I mean, that seems pretty simple to me. Nasu's just never decided to actually answer it. So, yeah, I can bring up, oh, well, if the Tosakas are actually related to the Edelfelts. What happened if the two sisters inherited the sister's trait and could both inherit the magic crest? I'm not going to go anywhere with it because I don't really care. Like we said, I don't fan work or theory craft for the sake of fan working or theory crafting. Like, arguably, even when I do fan servant stuff, which is a form of fan work, usually I'm doing that for the sake of, like, okay, I have an interesting historical character. I want to do something very specific with this person. Whether it's just, hey, I want to design this person as a servant because I think that this fictional or historical character is cool and I want to give them more love, or just like, wait a minute, because of Guy Fawkes masks in the Anonymous movement, I could do something really dumb with Guy Fawkes. Yeah, by the way, I have a Guy Fawkes fan servant stat block. That might have to wait till November. So usually I create with specific purposes or from specific inspiration. I don't think I could month to month on demand to be like, and this week we shall discuss the what if Zoken died and gave Shinji his magic crest, and Shinji actually had magic and wasn't a fuckboy. Because that would be such a comprehensive unpacking and repacking of Fate Stay Night that I'm like, I don't got time for that. It's a lot of work. Like, if you have time to write that fan fiction, go for it. Shoot. Go nuts. I'm probably not going to read it because I don't have time for that either. Sorry. But, like, this... sometimes people, I think, underestimate how much work some of this stuff is. Which is, I think, part of the crux for us. So, yeah. It's an interesting concept. I don't think I'll be going in that direction because it's, like... It's a little anathema to some of the things we've said in the past, and also it's just... that's even more work than doing research, because not only am I doing research, but then I also have to just straight up make shit up, which requires effort. Don't have. Like, you may, a lot of people probably think that making shit up is not a lot of effort. No, Nasu expends an inordinate amount of effort making up this bullshit. Do you see his word counts? Did you see what the text count for fucking Babylonia was? No, there's a lot of work that goes into this, just because sometimes it doesn't get kind of yeah, no. It is hard to do something like that. I've got a lot of, half-finished bits of fiction lying around that I've just, petered out on. Because I can only maintain my energy for so long. Hell, I've got RPGs that I'm writing that are, in halfway done states, because that's also a fuck ton of work. Always makes me feel good when I've completed a project, but, So, probably will not be going that route. Teacher Mega Sensei may still go on a pause. Though, I want to throw this out. Somebody did bring this up in chat, and I wanted to get back around to it. Because I do actually want to ask, is this a question people want to go on? They asked, have we done What is Prisma? And I'm like, actually, yeah, that is a good question. So we did CCC because it wasn't very accessible. But I know a lot of people skip getting into Prisma Ilia for reasons. Several reasons, but yeah, reasons. So that's actually a genuine question, because there's interesting stuff that goes on there. That wouldn't be a perfect topic, because unfortunately, Prisma Ilia is still ongoing in manga form. But it definitely has some very specific hypothetical stuff going on. So that's something that I've consumed, most of it. I've watched all the anime and stuff. Occasionally see bits of the new manga chapters because people don't shut the fuck up about them. I mean that in a nice way. So, that's an actual genuine one I'll leave up to you guys. Do you want me to pencil in What is Prisma? Much like how I did What is CCC? We could absolutely maybe take some of these more obscure ones. The problem is that Prisma's got some complete seasons of the anime. It has a movie. We can probably keep that self-contained. I don't think I can do a What is Strange Fate, because that's a story that's only 50% done, probably, if even, So, yeah.
Probably.
Hypothetically. So, yeah, that's something I can't help you with, because it's not fucking done. I don't know what Strange Fate is yet. Oh, you know what? Actually, no, I don't. I was about to say, we forgot to mention a series, but I was just no, actually, it probably wouldn't work. Case Files. I'm about to say, if you want to know more about Case Files, you could watch that anime. I do actually think that Case Files probably isn't a good intro anime for Fate, though, because... Yeah, you're basically going to say the same thing I was going to say, which is it involves a lot of deep dives and concepts and kind of relies on the fact that you know who the fuck Waver is.
Actually, I'm trying to think of when would be a good time to... Honestly, Pro Zero would probably be an okay time to watch Case Files.
Yeah, if you wanted to watch Zero, hypothetically, if you wanted to do the chronological watch, right, you could do Zero, Case Files, Unlimited Blade Works, and it would work out fine.
Yeah.
Arguably Heaven's Feel as well, but that's much more loosey-goosey as far as plot points introduced in Zero are. I think people have brought this up. If you look at it because it's from the same production studio, Unlimited Blade Works is almost a sequel anime to Zero, directly, because they worked on them in that order, and the way Unlimited Blade Works' story is set up is that the internal reveals are still secret, whereas other plot points and other routes are already spoiled by Zero, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting one. Okay. That was my hypothetical talk of hypotheticals. We already guessed about what's coming up in events. We already talked about the arcade thing. We yelled about it a little. Sorry, I'm racking my brain. Oh, it's after Daily Reset. I should get in there. Get my logins. But yeah, so, like, I guess to capstone this, if you would like me to throw in the topic list a summary of a plot and technical summary of what the fuck's happening with Prisma, assumably with spoilers, obviously, or any other Fate series that, like, makes sense, go ahead and let me know. We'll consider it at least.
Mm-hmm.
And that's everything, I think. All right, let's do the wrap up, I think.
Yes.
It's funny. Obviously, this episode starts with like 30 minutes of Oops All Omega, but it's now over 3 hours of recording time, so there's plenty of lucky in there. But okay, all right, let's wrap. Let me stretch all my bones. Are they evil bones? I don't know. I shouldn't say I have evil bones. People will try and murder me for my bones.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
They want them bones, though. Oh, okay. But slappity dap butt. By the way, please only slap butts with consent. Let's wrap up. Let's get out of here. People are already conspiring to play Final Fantasy XIV. My bones aren't evil. I'm good inside, actually. People are talking about how many bones are in humans.
Oh,
Isn't that? I believe that's freakishly like the exact amount of bones certain servants need for their skills, right?
Oh my goodness.
It's like 206. I believe that's true. Anyway, let's stop talking about bones. Take another yawn. Gonna get that airflow. Inflate that diaphragm so my brain works. And I'm just gonna do the outro. We're gonna outro now. If you watched this episode on YouTube, be sure to give it a like if you liked it. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I asked you several direct questions, and hypothetically, Lucky asked you direct questions as well, unless he doesn't exist. It was all an illusion. It's all in my head. I'm in a coma right now.
Oh, God.
No. I actually hate that plot. That's dumb. It wasn't all a dream. Dumbest plot ever. Anyway, if you hate the It Was All a Dream trope, leave a comment down below. You can also join our Discord. That link is, as always, in the video description and on our channel page. So you can go ahead and get there and join our Discord and yell about other stuff. Immediately mute Art Dump because people post like 5 million things in it. If you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel to get all of our latest videos when they come out. You know, like more Let's Talk FGO, our other podcast, What's Up, that Wanted Comma that I am definitely doing soon. It's great. Check it out. Even if you're already subscribed, also consider hitting that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video. And get to know right away when we post stuff, which occasionally happens at random times because DelayWorks hates me. No, I think that's fair. Yeah, it would be DelightWorks who sets the pace of events. You know, Aniplex just does the like translating and stuff. So it is in fact DelightWorks' fault when they launched King Protea banner like 3 days early in the middle of the night. Thanks, guys.
Thanks
for a lot of reasons. Thanks, guys. So yeah, you can hit that bell and you can always know when Omega has to pull that trigger early. You can also join our channel. That's a link and a button down there. Join, support us. It's great. Oof. And of course, like I said at the front of the show, somewhere in there, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early in audio format for as little as $1 a month or $10 a year. Get access to videos live, get to vote in those Patreon polls, all kinds of more stuff at higher tiers, and it really helps us out. Yeah, I haven't got anything. Lucky, would you like to assert you exist one last time for the microphones?
No.